What's up, animals? What's up, sleuths? You already know. Happy Monday. Run that shit. Yeehaw! Yeah, let's go. Woo! All right, let's go. Boom! Boom! What's up? How you guys doing? How you ladies and gentlemen doing out there today? How was your day? Did you have a good day? Oh, man, I had a long day today, man. I'm tired, I'm sleepy, and I wasn't going to stream tonight, but, you know, I said I got to stream these new cases I wanted to look at and some other stuff. So I'm here for 2.5 hours until 2 a.m. I'm getting off at 2 a.m. on the dot. You hear me? I'm getting off at 2 a.m. on the dot. It's 12:40 now almost. Oh, my God. Woo! Wow. That's a lot of yawning going on. Anywho, how you doing, JB? How you doing, Sean B? Sean B, how come you never come to movie night on Discord, Sean B? Why are you never there? I don't want people to hear my voice. My voice is very private, and I don't want people to know what I sound like. Nobody gives a fuck what you sound like. Why are you never there on movie night, bitch? Wild Dog, what's up? Cat Randall, what's up, Cat Randall? Angel Eyes, what up, boo? How you doing, Angel Eyes? Ray, True Crime, what's up? You're always late for movie night, too. I don't know what happened to you. You're always late for movie night. I see what goes on. I'm not stupid. Trust me. I'm a very smart man, and I see what's going on. I see everything. I may not say nothing, but I see what you guys are doing. I see it, man. Can't hide. You ain't slicker than Manimal. You ain't slicker than Manimal. I hide a lot of stuff that I see. Oh, man. Yep, that's me. Sleepy. I gotta admit, I'm sleepy. All right, who else is here? Anybody else? Is anybody here that I did not say hello to? Cakes Boo? Where's Cakes Boo? You saying hello to Cakes Boo? I don't see Cakes Boo. Cakes Boo's not here. Why are you saying hi to Cakes Boo? I don't know. You guys are weird. Oh, man. Oh, man. All right. Anyway, I am tired, though. It's been a long day, too. A long day. Long day. Guys, you want to see my guns? Look, my guns. My guns are on the back of my chair. Look. I got the guns on the chair, bro. Isn't that cool? Got them guns, baby. I got them guns. Yeah. Got them guns. Yeah. Is there a sound effect for that? Let me see. No. I wanted a sign. What? No. Guns. What about this? I got them guns. Yeah. You hear those, guys? Did you hear those sound effects? Yeah, share my screen. Share my screen, bro. Gotta get them guns tonight, bro. Yeah. Woo! Guns tonight. Guns tonight. Oh, you can't hear, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Well, they have a lot of different gun sound effects. Holy shit. Look at these sound effects with guns. There's so many. Oh. That's a shotgun right there. Oh, machine gun. Woo. Damn. Wow. What up, Angel Eyes? Woo. Let's go, Brian P. Oh, man. Wow. Holy shit. Oh, my God.
We've got a Mexican.
We got a Mexican. We got a Mexican. He said we got a Mexican. Oh, my God.
Absolutely.
Knock, knock. It's the United States with huge boats.
Holy shit.
2 machine guns.
Damn.
Fire! 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 Don't move! Stop the gun!
What video game was that? That's an old video game. Holy shit. Wow. That's a loud one.
Guns don't kill people. I do.
Oh!
Welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games.
Welcome to the jungle.
Enemy spotted.
Huh? A what?
Enemy spotted.
A Vandamise? The hell is a Vandamise? What's a Vandamise? All right, that's enough, guys. That's enough. That's enough. I like that. That gives me goosebumps. Wow. That gave me goosebumps. Did you guys get goosebumps from that? I got goosebumps. I don't know. Empty. Enemy spotted. Yeah, exactly. Enemy spotted. Get down to the ground. Woo! I could do this all day. That sound effect. You hear how it ends? Sounds like I'm playing Call of Duty. It sounds like you're playing Call of Duty with the gun sounds. Yeah, we are. That's what it sounds like. That whole stream sounds like this. Me playing Call of Duty. Oh my god. Wow, okay. 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 Yeah, baby. Okay.
Yo, brothers, respect mine. I ain't gonna take now. Bow, move from the gate now. Cash.
Around me, please get the money. Dollar bill, y'all. Cash flows everything around me. Please get the money. Dollar bill, y'all. Yeah, let's go.
Cash moves everything around me. Green, get the money. Dollar bill, yo. Woo. Cash moves everything around me. Green, get the money.
Dollar bill, y'all. Woo! Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, baby, let's go. Let's go, baby. Yeah, Leroy Jenkins.
Jenkins!
I love that. Oh, man, I miss Leroy Jenkins. Leroy Jenkins, guys. Leroy Jenkins. Yeah. All right, what trial are we going to watch, guys? What trial are we going to watch, guys? What trial are we going to watch? Huh? Huh? Which one? This is a 2-hour police chase today.
Yeah,
That's a bit too long.
He's doing this for you guys.
That's a
He's
bit
like,
too long.
Come on,
We had
put me on air.
There was a 2-hour police chase today in CHP, but I can't watch it right now.
I'm waiting.
No.
I'm waiting.
I don't got 2 hours to kill right now. I mean, I can always fast forward it.
Now, California Highway Patrol, there's a number of officers behind them, but they are kind of limited. I mean, what can they do? If it was very, very dangerous, possibly do a pit maneuver. We have seen it on the freeway, but at 50 miles an hour plus with other vehicles around, probably not going to.
Yeah, I can't watch that right now, guys. I gotta do a trial. No homicide, Jordan David. No homicide. Why no homicide? All right, let me watch this for a second. Hold on. Let's go back to David's case.
Has the Los Angeles Police Department just confirmed that Celeste Rivas Hernandez wasn't killed? Their latest statement has all of us guessing at what potential criminal liability anyone
the banner.
may face.
Thank you. I put the banner on now. Thanks, Sean.
Here after her body was found in a car registered to singer David. We are bringing back on Steve Fisher, the private investigator who is looking into
my font's a minute. I gotta fix my font. Hold on.
Aspects of this case on the ground in Los Angeles. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime.
Welcome to Sidebar.
I'm Jesse Weber.
Yeah, I'm Jesse Weber. Yeah.
As you're watching this, have you ever wondered how we're able to share so many clips from all of these stories so quickly? I'll give you a secret. If you're in the content creation game, it's called Opus Clip. This is an all-in-one AI editor
God,
that makes it a breeze to cut, create, and upload. And there have been, because the Hernandez, whose we make of this new, to help you edit of this new update in the David case. As we continue to cover the investigation into the death of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez, whose body was found in a Tesla that was registered to the singer out in L.A. back in September, and there have been no arrests, no one, including David, has been named a suspect or person of interest. What is happening right now? Because the LAPD has confirmed with KTLA that its prior news release, quote, stands on its own. What does that mean? Well, if you go back to that prior news release, essentially the message being sent is there is currently no crime other than concealment of a body that may have occurred. There is no case being sent over to the LA County District Attorney's Office for potential review or potential prosecution. And one of the reasons that announcement has been made was because the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner has not yet determined a manner or cause of Celeste's death. But should I say, as of now, right? Could this change? Does that mean they have no evidence right now that someone actually killed Celeste? caused her death, that there's no homicide charges on the table right now? Was it accidental? Someone freaked out, tried to dispose or conceal her body afterwards? Or is this basically a statement, they're not going to find any evidence that someone killed her, right? I want to get into what this means and what may be going on behind the scenes with someone who is on the ground in LA, someone who is investigating what may have happened to Celeste. I'm talking about Steve Fisher, a missing persons private investigator who is hired by the owner of the property that David was staying at in LA. Now, remember, this property was nearby where that Tesla was found. And as you may recall, the owner wants some more information about what role his house, his property, may have played in this, if any. And you may also remember, if you've been following us here on Sidebar, that we have interviewed Steve before. And when it came to what may have been found at that house...
That's awesome. Jubble the Rebel, what's up? Your friend named one of the cats Leroy, and the other Jenkins. Get out of here. That's funny, Jubble the Rebel. Leroy Jenkins cats. Maybe I'll do that when I'll get 2 dogs. I'll name one Leroy, one Jenkins. That's a great idea. I love it. I love it.
House that David moved out of that was searched by authorities. Here's what Steve said to us in a previous episode.
But I will say this, there are some things that, and I'm talking physical evidence that was at that house that is... there could have been greater plans as far as getting rid of her, and it's scary, sadistic stuff, and that's why we're trying to learn.
This guy always talks. How come it's always this guy that talks?
More about that. I wish I could say more, but for obvious reasons I can't. But it doesn't have to do with how she died, but maybe how they were planning on ultimately getting rid of her, and how maybe that Tesla was just a holding spot at the time, and things just, their timing was just off as far as getting this done. But there's a few things that were just like, will blow your mind.
And Steve joins us now. Steve, good to see you again. I'm really happy to have you. I mean, you've been on the ground there. You're investigating this. Let's start here. The big news. When the LAPD confirms with KTLA that its prior news release stands on its own, does that signify to you, hey, listen, we have no evidence that Celeste Rivas Hernandez was killed, that homicide charges are not warranted here, that's our final conclusion? Or is that saying we don't have evidence at this point?
So I think what it's saying is that they're still relying on what's going to come back from the medical examiner's office, since there's not a determination there, at least publicly. Now, are they in contact with the medical examiner? Absolutely. But listen, I don't think that's unintentional. They've been so tight-lipped. I think there has to be something to read into that. But again, I think the purpose of the initial release was to, get everybody possibly prepared that this isn't a homicide. And now they're saying we still don't have anything that shows that it is. But there's other, listen, a crime definitely occurred. And they even say that at least concealment of the body. But there's other crimes I hope they're investigating, such as the relationship. I understand it's a tough case to make because she's not around anymore. She can't testify, but it doesn't mean because it's hard, it shouldn't be, pursued.
I'm going to talk about what potential charges could be here in a second, but just going back to this, they have to be in contact with the LA County Medical Examiner. Does that mean that right now the LA County Medical Examiner is like, I need more information. I don't have a conclusion yet. Last time you and I were speaking, you said it's possible that the LA County Medical Examiner may be releasing the cause and manner of death of Celeste soon, because you were looking at the website and it was showing that they were reviewing cases. There was a backlog and maybe Celeste is going to come up. Does it signify to you, yeah, we spoke to them. There's nothing to determine that she was killed by anyone, which could raise questions about how she died? Or is this a situation where, they again, yeah, they spoke to them. Yeah, it's possible Celeste was killed, but we're just not revealing that at this point in time.
Yeah, so the LA County Medical Examiner's Office has their own in-house investigators also. And in fact, they publicly say on the site who the investigator on the case is. So I'm sure they're working with robbery homicide. And, it may be a case that, let's say they did get a good toxicology result back, but it's not an overdose. Now it throws it back into, okay, so then you got really limited options. It's either a homicide or, if she took her own life. Then they'd really have to dig in, because if it wasn't glaringly obvious from the initial autopsy, in other other words, if there's not a gunshot wound or something like that, then, they're going to have to maybe get forensic anthropologists involved that specialize in trying to make these determinations on severely decomposed bodies, which can take a while. And they might be consulting with outside pathologists to see if they got it, to get comfortable with a possible determination. But something, like you said, I've been tracking those other cases and they've come back with toxicology now. In fact, she's the only one of 6 deaths on September 8th that doesn't have a cause and manner. And so it's a little bit, it's concerning, but which way it goes is hard to tell because they could have, needed additional testing.
Because you thought by this point we might have had a release. You thought by this point we might have more information.
If it was, I think if they got a good toxicology, let's say it came back and it was clearly an overdose of some sort, whether somebody administered that or she took it herself and it was an accident is a different thing. The cause would be, overdose manner would be whether it was self-administered or administered by someone else. I would think that there would have been some sort of indication by now, and that could be then initial charges could be dropped. I don't know why initial charges couldn't be dropped now, even if they have the stack on top of them, because I know that they'll probably say, well, he's cooperating. But how much, if it's been 2 months and you haven't gotten the answer yet, is he really cooperating? So, it means he's probably not.
I'm confused.
The counsel's telling him not
I'm confused with this weapon. I wonder what's happening.
Now.
And to be clear about something, okay?
I don't know.
If they come back and they say, listen, there's no evidence to support that Celeste was killed, right? There's no evidence to support homicide charges, manslaughter, murder, anything like that. Is that consistent with what you're seeing in your private investigation? Are you hearing or seeing something different? Would you be surprised if that's the ultimate conclusion?
I'll just be honest. We really don't know. Nobody has stepped forward, even, wanting to be anonymous off the record and said, listen, I know what happened. So it's very bizarre that there's this many people involved that have stayed this quiet for this long, especially when they're young. And it's like they're all lawyered up, to be honest with you. And I don't know if that's because maybe he's providing counsel to all of them, but there's no leaks coming out. And that's kind of bizarre with this many people involved, younger people that kind of want to save themselves and they're blowing their careers up. So it seems like there's something that they're trying to protect, but I don't know what it is yet.
I just have to be clear once again, right? There's a lot of online speculation. There's a lot that we're looking into. We're looking at every report that's come out. To be clear, okay, David Anthony Burke has not been officially implicated in any crime, any wrongdoing. He's not been charged. He's not been named a suspect, not a person of interest. Obviously, his connection is through the car and these reports that he had some sort of relationship with Celeste, which I'll dive into a little bit more. But Steve, I was looking into this, right? And unless I'm wrong, if someone just moved Celeste's body, possibly under California law, that may be just a misdemeanor. There's a law that says every person who, having knowledge of an accidental death, actively conceals or attempts to conceal that death shall be guilty of a misdemeanor, punishable by imprisonment in a county jail for not more than 1 year, or by a fine of not less than $1,000, nor more than $10,000, or by both that fine and imprisonment. And for purposes of this section, to actively conceal an accidental death means any of the following: to perform an overt act that conceals the body or directly impedes the ability of authorities or family members to discover the body, to directly destroy or suppress evidence of the actual physical body of the deceased, including, but not limited to, bodily fluids or tissues, to destroy or suppress the actual physical instrumentality of death, right, what caused the death. And I also saw that there was this health and safety code section under California law that says a person who willfully mutilates remains known to be human without authority of law is guilty of a felony. I'm just not sure if we've seen convictions on that for something like this, given this fact pattern. But the reason people are talking about this law now is because if we are coming to the conclusion that this really may be it, am I wrong? Is that really what, we might be looking at?
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. And, I've brought this up for a while now that you can willfully conceal and suppress evidence and destroy evidence to hide it from investigators and family and everybody else. And it's still a misdemeanor. And let's just be real about it. None of these people appear to, or an initial orbit have a record. So they're not going to get up to a year in county jail. They're going to get probation if they're charged. So it's tremendous. Now it shifts to a felony when you mutilate a body. Now, and of course, we've heard these reports since the beginning of her being dismembered. I do not believe that. I believe it was disinterculation, that's a natural process of the connective tissues degrading and the bones, falling apart. I don't have any evidence that she was dismembered, so I don't think that's the case.
Okay.
But if it is, then that would go to a felony. That would be a totally different thing. But you suppress this evidence. You can hide her in a trunk from investigators and destroy evidence. And it's a misdemeanor in California.
And to be clear, maybe that's what the additional testing is, to try to see what signs her body shows of being manipulated in some way or mutilated in some way. I hate to talk so cavalier about this, but from a legal point of view, this is the cold, hard facts. This is what investigations look like. Although I will tell you, if we're saying, okay, how did she die then? And I know that there's been a conversation, well, let's say for argument's sake, and this is purely speculation, if you're talking about drugs being involved, is the LAPD saying that this is not a drug-related death, or that someone wouldn't be responsible for it? Because you would think it is possible, we've seen it before, someone could be charged with an overdose. Someone could be charged with drug offenses, even in severe cases. If they provide drugs that result in an overdose, you could look at, let's say, involuntary manslaughter. Someone could be brought up on charges of distributing those drugs, providing those drugs, particularly to a minor.
That guy,
they're not
Devyn,
saying that at that point, right? I mean, that could be because there's no evidence of that. Or maybe they're saying, the LAPD, we don't even want to mention drugs. We don't even want to mention drugs at this point. What do you think's going on there?
Yeah, it could be. So, listen, this is a high-profile case. And let's look at other high-profile cases that's similar to this. Mac Miller, Matthew Perry, both times people charged with providing him the drugs they overdosed on. So maybe there is a drug element to this investigation going on that we don't know about. Because when they confirmed, basically, they're standing on that statement a couple days ago, I know that I saw a headline saying, they've confirmed that it's not a murder, not homicide. That's not what they said. They said they're just standing on their previous statement. So it got a little spun out of control, I think. And that's going to happen when this goes on 2 months, right? But maybe there's a drug investigation. Maybe they're trying to figure out how those got to her, and it's going to be a Mac Miller or Matthew Perry type of situation where they are going to go after, whoever provided them.
And without naming names, from your investigation into that
house,
I'll be
right back. Get some coffee.
At this point, whether drugs were ever found at that house or connected to that house?
So I can tell you that there was prescription narcotic medication, opiate, painkillers that were found, but they were prescribed. And so we don't know if they were ever used recreationally or not. There was some paraphernalia there, but listen, marijuana is legal in California, and it's something that you could use for that. You could also use it for illicit drugs. We don't know what they were being used for. I've seen some pictures of Celeste where she doesn't look sober. I'll just be honest with you. She looks like she's definitely not sober. And I've talked to people in Lake Elsinore that said when she came back after that time that law enforcement brought her back, that she was quote unquote strung out. And so I don't know, and I hate to say that about a minor because I don't have proof of it. I'm just telling you what I've been told. But if that's indeed the case, then hopefully there's a drug element going, investigation going on that we don't know about. They're just being very tight-lipped. But listen, it's been a while now,
No, look, a lot of people care about Celeste. They're worried. They're thinking about what happened here. They're invested in this case, family, friends, just people who are constantly following it from the beginning. And I wanted to ask you what you learned more about Celeste so far in your investigation, because we covered this extensively, that there was, and you mentioned this, there was reporting about her running away from home, footage of her walking away on a street in Lake Elsinore, footage of her potentially fighting with people in her neighborhood, reporting particularly from TMZ that Celeste may have been in some sort of relationship with David, those around them saying that they thought she was 19. What else have you learned about Celeste Rivas Hernandez that we should know?
Well, listen, I'm 100% convinced personally that there was a relationship going on. I think, you don't have to have a tape of a sex act going on in order to prove that. But it also showed that, listen, she had a lot of freedom at a very young age. Now there's photos of her at a concert in Vegas when she was 13 years old at a concert that he was playing at. Of course, the other stuff we've already talked about, which is her at that high school graduation and her showing up arguing with the neighbors. These are all during the time that she's reported as a missing person. Law enforcement should have been notified. At that graduation, I don't believe that she was the only person in her family there. I think that there was several adult family members there, and there was school police officers at that graduation. I don't know why somebody didn't say, hey, by the way, this is a missing person. And, they would go the route they normally go and make sure that she's okay and find out what's going on. But none of that happened. It seemed like she just showed up like at a family event and then went back to wherever it was she was staying. And that's concerning because she wasn't in school and there wasn't these controls and that are there for a reason.
Have you tried reaching out to Celeste's family and friends? Have they been responsive at all? I mean, what can you tell us?
I reached out to two of them that I don't speak Spanish myself. So I didn't reach out directly to the mom because I heard that she only speaks Spanish, but I did reach out to two others and I have not heard back from them. And I'm not going to press it with them because I do have a limited scope in this investigation. I'm not there investigating side by side with LAPD. I'm there for the homeowner and finding out what happened in or around the house and the cars that were at the house. So I'm not going to press that, but no, I tried and I've not heard back. If they're, if they're watching this, I'd love to talk to them. I'm not, I just want to, learn, what happened.
And by the way, just going back to something you had mentioned since the first time that we spoke about this, that there was this surveillance footage, and correct me if I'm wrong, you can't identify, but you seem to know who moved that Tesla, right? Who operated that Tesla. When we say there's no arrest here, when we are talking about the fact, there's been no arrest, no person of interest, no suspect. Again, at this point of time, because it's been some time since you and I first talked about that, are you surprised? No arrest there of that person?
Yeah, I am, because I can understand maybe a month or 6 weeks ago, because if they're saying, hey, listen, they're cooperating with us right now, there's no reason to jam them up and then have their lawyers say, listen, you went ahead and arrested, so now we're not cooperating, we're not talking. But even if they're saying that's still the case, 2 months, if they haven't told you the whole story now in 2 months, then is that cooperating? I don't believe it is. So I think there's initial charges you could start with, and they're just misdemeanor charges. So it's not like the person would even the person, what's going on with bond in California right now. I mean, the person would probably get on their own recognizance, so.
And now I'm not saying that would change the investigation analysis, but sometimes we've seen before in cases where somebody, when they are charged, they sometimes provide more information to law enforcement. Sometimes it can lead to a further search warrant where you can get more information. So when someone is charged even with a lower level offense, that could ultimately lead to something else. But by the way, have you spoken to LAPD? Have they given you any indication what's going on?
Yeah, I've spoken to them a couple of times to give them information, but they haven't offered anything back, which I didn't expect anyways. But it's only been to give them information.
Are they concerned about your parallel investigation or no?
We haven't even had that conversation, but if I had to guess, I would say they don't like it for sure. There's never a situation where they particularly like somebody I'm very much information based. I don't believe in this totally tight to the vest type of investigation. I think that pressure really brings people forward and stuff. And that's why I think something like an arrest, because if you're a person that gets arrested for moving that vehicle, for participating in a concealment of a body, and you feel like now you're the only one that's been arrested, and you feel like you're taking the hit for this when you only did one part of it, you're probably going to talk. You're to investigate, say, okay, this person also did this, and I think it's a way to bring answers out. I don't think that they love that I'm involved, but it's just, I am. And that's the way it is right now.
Before I let you go, Steve, one final point. Have you spoken to anyone in David's camp? Do you know where he is at this point?
No, I know that early on, it seemed like he was in California, because when he transferred that property in Texas, it had the notary seal was a California notary. So it appeared that when he signed those documents, he had come back to California, at least for a while. I have no idea if he's still here or where he is. And I've spoken to some people that are like one step removed from the initial players, but I haven't talked to any of the main people I would like to.
And by the way, your client, the owner of this property, how are they feeling at this point?
I mean, they want answers. I mean, I could see how it would be disturbing to decide if you want to live in that house right now or not while this is going on. Did somebody lose their life in there or not lose their life in there, especially a 14-year-old at the time? So, they want answers and they want to know what's going on. And especially since he wasn't even the person who signed the lease and this is all, news to him.
It was David's manager, right, who was on the lease. But have they tried to, rent out the property again, or sell the property?
I know that they were doing some repairs on it. And I don't know if it's on the rental. I haven't even asked. He's never brought anything up about the financial or part of it. It's just been wanting to know more from like a healthy, like spiritual type of thing, like what may have or may not have happened there.
Steve Fisher, always appreciate you taking the time to talk to us about what's going on here. Again,
I'm going to say, Jubba the Rebel, what's your coffee trivia question?
A lot of questions, but thank you so much.
Thank you.
And that's all we have for you right now here on Sidebar. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us. And as always, please subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify.
Who parked that car? Dive team unseen. Another body found in Houston, Bayou.
Is there, in fact, a Bayou Butcher haunting the streets of Houston, taking the lives of innocent people and leaving their bodies floating?
The Bayou Butcher.
Floating in waterways around Texas's largest city? Or
Texas.
Is it merely a coincidence that dozens of people have ended up in the water in non-nefarious ways in a metro area of millions? That answer has now been complicated a bit by brand new information about the number of people found.
I can't watch that right now. But guys, don't you guys think it's suspicious that the person who drove the car and parked it was not David, it was somebody else? Now, who is that other person? Who was driving David's car last? I want to Google it. I have to Google it, man. Who drove David's car last when body was found? Let me see. It says here the identity of the person who drove David's car. Let me see. Let me blow this up. It says here the identity of the person who drove David's car last when the body was found has not been publicly disclosed by the police. Why? Why hasn't that been publicly disclosed? A private investigator claims to have video evidence showing the last person who drove the car, but he has not revealed their identity. A private investigator claims to have video, but he won't reveal their identity? What? Police investigation, the Los Angeles Police Department the Los Angeles Police Department is investigating the death of Celeste Rivas Hernandez, a 15-year-old whose body was found in Tesla. Private investigators claim a private investigator, Steve Pfizer, says he has video evidence showing who was driving the car and has given it to and he gave it to the LAPD. How did he get that video? How did he get the video? Driver's identity withheld. The private investigator has stated that he knows the identity of the driver, but is not at liberty to disclose it. What do you mean you're not at liberty to disclose it? And the police have not made any public announcement regarding this individual. Why not? Why are they making this more suspicious than it is already? This makes no sense, guys. Am I wrong? I don't know, man. It's kind of crazy. He walked around the neighborhood and asked, Cakes Boo, how you doing? How do you know that's what he did, Cakes Boo? Well, he has video. They're saying a private investigator seems to have video, so it's not just walking around in the neighborhood and asking. There's video of him of the person driving the car last. Maybe because it's an ongoing investigation. Okay, but that person drove the car last. Why isn't he being arrested or questioned or something? He said it? He said what? What are you talking about? He said it. Who said it? He said it? Who said what? He's a liar anyway, so I wouldn't believe it? Who's a liar? Huh? He's a liar? Who's a liar? Oh, man, this is crazy. This is really strange. This is strange, man. This is too strange. Let me see what this is.
Story that I'll bet you haven't forgotten. Somebody put a dead or soon-to-be dead teenage runaway in the trunk of her boyfriend's Tesla and ditched that Tesla on an upscale street in the Hollywood Hills. And weeks later, that Tesla with the rotting corpse inside was ticketed and towed away. That somebody may or may not have had a hand in the runaway's death, but my money is on yes. And more than a month after this mystery first hit the headlines with the discovery of the decomposing body of Celeste Rivas Hernandez, the name of that somebody is as unknown to us officially as ever, but apparently not to everybody. The identity of the person who abandoned that Tesla, a filthy luxury car owned by the singer David, with David's 14-year-old girlfriend dead inside, is now known to investigators.
Thank you for saying bless you. Thank you. Thank you, Kate Boo. Thank you, Kat Randall. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
And tonight, we're learning that both the car and driver were captured on surveillance video the last time that car was apparently driven by anyone. Even better, we've learned the driver was visible enough in that footage to be identified later on.
Thank you.
LA police are not talking about this or anything else in the Celeste death investigation. The bombshell video was unearthed by the private investigator hired by the owner of the house where David lived up until a couple of weeks after Celeste was found dead in his car. And that's not the only piece of evidence that the PI unearthed. That investigator's name is Steve Fisher, and he joins me now live. Steve, welcome back to the program.
Oh, my God. It's always the same guy. This guy has mad fucking interviews. Holy shit. Another, in this video, him as well. He's in every video. Oh, my God.
Are you that this video of the car driving away from David's mansion is the last time it drove and ended up at the spot where it was abandoned, likely with that body inside?
I'm certain. Listen, I can't say 100% because there's not a camera trained on that Tesla once it's parked. Continuously that I've seen. I mean, there likely is a camera, but I've seen the car driven to that spot, and with the dates, with the date that it was. And they left town right after that. I'm certain that is the last time the car was driven. It was put there with her, in the front trunk.
And there's one weird detail about what you could, well, there's a lot of weird details, and I'm going to get to what you saw through the driver's side window in a second, but there was an air freshener that was found in the car at this point that we see on our screen where it was abandoned. Was that air freshener also hanging from the rearview mirror when it drove off from David's house?
It wasn't, but the window was half to 3/4 of the way down, which is odd because it was a very short drive. And also at that, on that day, this is the very end of July 29th, it was like 78 degrees at that time in the morning, or 77 degrees. And if it was on the street where the house is, so it's shaded by the house. So if you're going, I don't know why the window would be rolled down unless there's something, offensive there. And then all of a sudden, one of the first things I picked up on when the news first broke about her being found in there, they were towing the car away from the impound lot to LAPD was, why on a $104,000 car is there a Christmas tree air freshener hanging from the from the mirror? It seemed kind of odd to me, but I guess maybe they thought that would help, mask it
with the
when they
smell.
had to move the car again.
Need more than that.
That smell at that time, because again, we have no idea when Celeste started decomposing in that trunk.
How you doing,
we don't know
Ashley?
if she'd been
Hi.
decomposing in the trunk for a long time before it ended up being the car ended up being abandoned. But talk to me about the date of this video, July 29th, and talk to me about what you saw. What did you see in terms of the identity of the person driving through that open window?
So it's very clearly that Tesla, one, because the Tesla has that tape on the rear spoiler for whatever reason. I don't know why it's there. And also, it was just like it is in that picture. It was
tape
that
on the
dirty,
rear spoiler.
you could tell that they had
what tape on the real spoiler? Had tape on the real spoiler? What tape?
Run the windshield wiper like once to clear the dirt away so they could see. And it comes very close to the camera, although there is some motion.
Not dirty,
but
no.
You can see the person and you can see what they're wearing, something pretty distinctive. And there's photos that I have from 12 hours earlier, a person at the house wearing the same thing.
And I know that the viewers right now are screaming at the TV set saying, Ashley, ask them who it was.
Glad you're here too, Ashley. Thank you.
I mean, I honestly wish I could tell you. I don't want to, I don't want to interfere with LAPD on that. And I think that's coming because we know a crime was committed 100%. Somebody concealed her body. And, hey, maybe the reason I don't want to say the person's name is because maybe this person was just someone that was asked to move the car, and didn't know. I find that very hard to believe, and I doubt that's the case. But just in case, I'd rather LAPD make that announcement.
Well, and it's important for us to tell viewers as well that you turned all this material over to them. You're the one who found it. You're the one who took it to them. You're the one who said, and I connected it to the photos from just 12 hours earlier, and here's the clothing. It looks like this could be an ID. July 29th, important because that was the last day that David was in Los Angeles, right? But before he went off on his tour. So he was there in Los Angeles on that day that drive happened.
Yeah, I've seen on one of his public social medias, he had put a video out where it was the first day on their new tour bus because they were going to San Francisco, I believe, for the first night of the concert series. And they did a video from inside the tour bus. So I believe hours after that car was moved, they actually got on the tour bus and headed to San Fran.
Let me ask you this, and I only have a couple seconds left, but you found some other suspicious things. The landlord, as you know, we obviously know now, allowed you into the house, and you saw some things in there that were very uncomfortable and very suspicious.
This guy was inside the house. Wow.
I know you can't say certain things, but what can you tell us about what you saw inside the house?
Well, and this is the landlord found it also, but there were some things in there that were hard to think about because these would be items that would be used if you wanted to get rid of a body, and there's really no other purpose for them at a house this or anything. They're expensive items, and so I jokes and
what name the items, bro. What items did you find or see in the house? I want to know what items he's referring to. Come on.
But they weren't used. I'll tell you that they were still in the box. So I don't know.
They weren't used. But maybe he bought extra, and these were extras that were left over.
How much we'll find out about that in the future because you can't charge somebody for thinking about doing something. But I think that they had a plan.
But it's important to know because the first thing I said when I learned of that was that
look, here's the 3-car. There's a 3-car garage here. Look, you see these 3 doors? Those are garage doors.
Well, that can't be possible because the LAPD raided the place.
Let me go back. Let me see. This garage door, right? Look, those are garage doors. 1, 2, 3 garage doors.
Somebody for thinking about doing something, but I think that they had a plan.
But it's important to know, because the first thing I said when I learned of that was that, well, that can't be possible because the LAPD raided the place and took everything. But you know for a fact that they photographed those things.
Garage. How come they put the car in the garage?
And
we had the camera up there, a nice camera. Look at that, look at the camera.
You know.
Got a camera up there. Oh man. They have everything in this house.
For the fact that they photographed those things, and they're huge and heavy and expensive, and so they have ample information and photographic evidence of those things.
They said that we inquired about this, and they said that they photographed it. I don't know why they didn't take it. There's 2 items. I don't know why they didn't take them, but they said they photographed them.
Steve Fisher, I got to cut it there, but I got to have you back. That's just a lot of information and a lot of reporting, and I just can't believe there hasn't been some movement on this case. Thank you so much for bringing that to us.
That doesn't make sense, right, Ashley? You have a 3-car garage, but you still park your car, nonetheless, a Tesla in the street. That's ridiculous, man. I don't know what the hell's going on. That makes no sense whatsoever. Oh, my God. What the hell?
I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Wow. I don't get it, man. That's kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy, man. Wow. Oh, my God. I don't know what to say, guys. Abandoned in the Hollywood Hills with the body teen run away inside. You have to see Fisher obtained video. The July 29th video while working for the landlord of the house where David has been staying for earlier this year. The PI says he believes the footage shows the last time the Tesla was driven before the car was left on a nearby street, ticketed and towed September 5th to a Hollywood impoundment lot. On September 8th, the remains of Celeste minor has been linked to the 20-year-old David. Were found in the front trunk. I don't know, man. The Tesla comes very close to the camera. Although there is some motion blur, the investigator told Banfield on Friday, but you can see the person. They're wearing something pretty distinctive. And there's photos that I have from 12 hours earlier of a person at the house wearing the same thing. He declined to share the driver's identity, citing an ongoing investigation has been by the police at LAPD, which now expects to move forward. That's coming because we know a crime was committed. 100%, Fisher said somebody concealed her body. He said there is also a chance the person seen driving with the vehicle was simply asked to move the car. See? He's saying that maybe that's why they're not arresting this guy, because he's probably telling them, I was only told to move the car. I work for David. He asked me to move the car, so I moved it. I didn't ask any questions. I guarantee that's his response. That's definitely, that would be my response. He's also said that the chance the person seen driving the vehicle was simply asked to move the car. I find that very hard to believe, and I doubt that's the case. But just in case, I'd rather LAPD make that announcement. David was in Los Angeles at the time of the video of the Tesla was taken. Fisher said, who based his statement on a social media post about the recording artist's touring activities. The singer's name, whose real name is David Anthony Burke, has not been accused of wrongdoing, and his representatives say he has cooperated with police. I mean, cooperate with police? How do you know he's not lying? Oh, God. He could be lying. The Los Angeles Medical Examiner says Rivas Hernandez's cause of death has been deferred and requested additional testing. The teen had been missing from her home in Lake Ismael, California since 2024 when she was 13 years old. 13. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 5 years, still a minor. 5 years left to be a minor. She still hasn't hit 14, 15, 16, 17. She hasn't hit those ages yet. She's only 13 years old. And she ran away to see, I guess, David, whatever he was doing at the time. What? David's friend believes Celeste was his 19-year-old girlfriend? Really? 19-year-old? Family members held a funeral at the Queen of Heaven earlier in the month. Let me see that Queen. I don't know, guys. I don't know. That's all I got. New video shows swatting incident at Sydney's home. Let me see. A swatting incident? What's a swatting incident? Let me see.
New developments tonight surrounding singer David, this time about a fake swatting call at one of his homes in Texas. There's also some questions tonight about a transfer of one of his homes days after a 15-year-old girl was found dead in the trunk of his car. Eyewitness News.
Wait, what? Sean B asking, do you think that there will ever be an arrest in this case? Yes, I believe there will be, Sean B. Definitely. Someone's going to get arrested and someone's going to get convicted. Guaranteed. Something is going to come out. Something is going to come out.
Reporter Rob Hayes in our newsroom with the latest details on this. Rob?
Yeah, that teen girl's death still a mystery, but today we're getting a look at some newly released videos of what investigators say was a recent case of swatting at the home where David's parents live. And we're also learning more about...
Well, she had fake IDs, Ashley? All right, thank you. So that's why it said those are 19, because she had fake IDs. David's friend said they thought Celeste was 19. Oh. And a university student. She looks older. She does look older, though.
About some real estate transactions David has been involved in following the girl's death.
Sheriff's deputies speed through the night in the outskirts of Houston, responding to a 911 call about a deadly shooting.
What? Yeah, Waller County Sheriff's Office.
I heard some gunshots, and I think someone's dead.
When they arrive at the home in question, guns are drawn. But after talking with the people who answered the front door, they quickly learned the call was fake. A case of swatting, someone reportedly using a device that alters voices, calling in a false report. In this case, the people living in the house were the parents of David.
Oh, my God. That was the parents of David. Somebody swatted a call like that to the parents of David. Wow. That's fucked up.
The swatting case happened last month and the days after a decomposing female body was found in the trunk of the singer's Tesla. The car had been towed from a street in a swank Hollywood Hills neighborhood to a Hollywood tow yard. The remains identified as Celeste Rivas Hernandez, a 15-year-old girl from Lake Elsinore. Investigators say her body had most likely been in the car for several weeks before being discovered. The cause of Hernandez's death is still undetermined.
On that, it's an ongoing investigation. We have a lot of resources dedicated to bringing it to a conclusion, but to go beyond what's already been made public would be inappropriate.
That was LAPD Chief Jim McDonald talking about the investigation roughly 2 weeks ago. No suspects have been named in the case.
Now, also new tonight, records show David has transferred ownership of his house in Cypress, Texas, to his mother. That transfer put into the books about 2 weeks after the body was found in his Tesla. Reporting live in the newsroom, Rob Hayes, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
There you go. Wow. Crazy, man. I don't know. Made some changes to ownership of one of his homes in Texas last month. I wonder why he did that, guys. That's a little suspicious. Something he knows. He knew something was going to happen. He's scared. When a person makes changes to ownership of a home or property, that means they're scared that they're going to get in trouble and they have to give that away or someone's going to have to take it or something. So apparently it says here, singer Devyn made some changes to the ownership of one of his homes in Texas. Wow. I wonder why. Because he killed somebody. He killed that girl. He had to have done it. He had to have done it. I'm sorry. Something happened, man. I don't know if they were partying and it got a little too hard and she got carried away and did too many drugs and died. She's very young. She's only 15 years old. She wasn't used to the drugs. Something happened with one of the drugs. I'm sorry. I'm just guessing, but I have a feeling that's what's happened. Records show he transferred his Cypress home located in Houston area to his mother's name on September 23rd, about 2 weeks after a decomposing body was found in Tesla. Wow. Officials say deputies were called to the Houston area home where David's parents live on September 17th, but that turned out to be a fake swatting call. In the swatting incident, the caller claimed that there was a shooting with a dead female victim. However, the alarm was cleared and no incident report was filed. A video from the Waller County District Office shows deputies speeding through the night to the home of the outskirts of Houston where David's parents live, responding to the 911 call about a deadly shooting. All right. The audio call from that one. All right. What happened last month? This guy's screwed. This is, I don't know, man. I don't know.
It is a mystery that has so many looking for answers. How did a 15-year-old girl end up dead in the trunk of a singer's car? Tonight, we're learning new details of the high-profile case. And Eyewitness News reporter Leon Suter is live with what investigators are revealing and what they're still trying to determine. Leanne?
David, we're getting a first look at the death certificate as well as new details about the timeline of that disturbing discovery. But yet still so many questions remain. The biggest one of them all is how did the 15-year-old die? The death certificate revealing few clues about how Celeste Rivas died, only that she was not pregnant. The cause of death listed as deferred as the coroner and detectives work to figure out how the 15-year-old's decomposing body ended up in the front trunk of a Tesla registered to singer David.
In order for there to be a prosecution, law enforcement has to find some key pieces of information when it comes to a potential homicide. First, they actually need to figure out if it's a homicide or not, and the autopsy report will help give them that. Then they have to figure out the who and the how in order to bring charges.
The LAPD says the Tesla at the center of the case had been parked in the same spot in the Hollywood Hills for several weeks before eventually being towed. Not far away, detectives were seen taking evidence, including a computer from a Hollywood Hills home where the singer had recently stayed. According to the LA Times, the lease on the home had been broken early, and David, whose real name is David Anthony Burke, had moved out.
Oh.
The Times also reported
he moved out? Wait.
11
he moved
days
out?
before the teen's body was found inside. And why she ended up going to solve the mystery of how and why she ended up in David's trunk last year. The LAPD vowing to solve the mystery of how and why she ended up in David's trunk and if the two had been in a relationship.
Certainly,
In a bloodied shirt stands on what appears gory imagery in Hollywood. Enforcement officer Mark Burke had moved. Not far away, detectives were seen taking evidence, including a computer from a Hollywood Hills home where the singer had recently stayed. According to the LA Times, the lease on the home had been broken early.
The lease has been broken early. Oh, I wonder why. Come on. The lease was broken early. Oh, my God.
And David, whose real name is David Anthony Burke, had moved out. The Times also reporting the Tesla was ticketed 11 days before the teen's body was found inside. According to the timeline, on August 27th, a parking enforcement officer marked the singer's Tesla. Then September 3rd, an officer issued a parking citation. 2 days later, the car was towed to a tow yard in Hollywood. September 8th, a worker noticed the smell, investigators discovering the teenager's decomposing body inside.
In the back of my
Online, fans targeting the romantic
crazy.
homicide singer's lyrics and music videos that feature gory imagery and themes. In one, what appears to be a blindfolded David in a bloodied shirt stands by as two people put a body into the trunk.
Oh my God. He has a video. Oh my God. He literally has a video of him in a bloody shirt and blindfolded, and two people putting a body in the trunk of a car. Oh my God. Bro, that's crazy, man. Look.
Blindfolded David in a bloody...
Wow.
In one, what appears to be a blindfolded David in a bloodied shirt stands by as two people put a body into the trunk of a car.
Wow.
Another video depicts a girl's arm being cut off. Rivas, who was in the 7th grade,
Wait,
had been
what?
reported missing.
What?
Rivas, who was in the... Another video depicts a girl's arm being cut
Another video depicts an arm of a girl getting cut off. Wow.
off. Rivas, who was in the 7th grade, had been reported missing by her family in Lake Elsinore at least 3 times last year. The LAPD vowing to solve the mystery of how and why she ended up in David's trunk and if the two had been in a relationship.
Certainly, whenever you investigate a homicide, the detectives look at all of the associated issues as well. In this case, that's something that they would be looking at. It's an ongoing investigation. We have a lot of resources dedicated to bringing it to a conclusion.
That's crazy.
Investigators awaiting numerous test results, among them toxic.
What a coincidence, right? Too many coincidences. There's a lot of coincidences in this case.
Toxicology as they try to figure out exactly how the 15-year-old died. A memorial service is set for Saturday. Reporting live, Lee Hyun-Suter, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
That's sad, bro. That's sad.
Texts are flooding our phones and costing some dearly. The Federal Trade Commission says last year alone, those texts scammed Americans out of nearly half a...
All right, that's something different. All right, man. I guess we'll see what happens, you know? What is this video? Hold on, one more video. What's this?
A private investigator claims he's uncovered crucial new evidence in the haunting case
that's old.
15-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez, the girl found in the front trunk of a Tesla.
I'm in Hollywood with more on what we're learning.
I think we heard about this.
That private investigator told me tonight that he actually has video evidence of the last person driving that Tesla. He says he has supplied it to the LAPD.
We saw this already.
I can't say, but there is surveillance from
Less body was found. No arrest and no suspects. David, real name David Anthony Burke, has not commented, but he did cancel his world tour, and he has not been seen in public since then.
World tour.
Been shocking how
there he is.
silent he's been for somebody.
There he is, pulling the body. Look.
Somebody that really lived online, and not only him, but the people around him in his immediate orbit. They've gone completely silent.
So we do know there was at least one crime committed, concealing body. When might we
you think he's guilty for sure? Oh, man.
Expect an arrest in the case? The investigator believes that LAPD is waiting for those toxicology reports, which could come any day and could indicate a more serious crime. We're live tonight in Hollywood. I'm Sandra Mitchell.
Toxicology
News,
reports.
Sharon, Micah.
Toxicology reports are waiting. Should be coming in shortly. Toxicology. Wow. That's cray. All right, I guess that's it. I think we confirm private by police. Has David been interviewed by police about the incident? Let me see. Yes, a representative from David has stated he is fully cooperating with authorities regarding the case. David was on tour when the body was discovered in the trunk of his impounded Tesla, and he subsequently canceled the remainder of his U.S. tour dates. However, the Los Angeles Police Department has not publicly confirmed that the specifics of this cooperation, including whether David has been formally interviewed. The LAPD has been tight-lipped about the ongoing investigation, only stating that they are following up on several leads. Authorities have not yet named David as a suspect or person of interest in the case, and no arrests have been made as they await crucial lab tests and toxicology reports to determine the cause of death. There you have it. I'm sure it's going to come up eventually. All that good stuff. Damn, nothing. They haven't really posted anything about this case in a couple of weeks now. So, probably since like October. The third week of October? No, the last time they posted anything about this case was about October 21st. It says here. Anyway, I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I want to look at this. All right. What is it? There's so many things I want to look at. I want to look at this case. Boyfriend beheading murder trial. I'm just curious. How did that lady cut that girl? I can't believe this lady cut the head off. I gotta. Did we watch anything with regard to the woman who beheaded her husband or boyfriend? I think it was her husband. No, her boyfriend. Devyn Michaels is on trial for the murder of her ex-boyfriend and children's father. So it was the ex-boyfriend and children's father, Jonathan Willett, on August 7, 2023. Prosecutors allege that Michaels killed and decapitated Willett to gain custody of the children and later pursued a relationship with his son. What? What? Oh, my God. Prosecutors allege that Michaels, the woman, killed and decapitated the boyfriend to gain custody of the children and later pursued a relationship with his son. Dun, dun, dun. Wow. Whom she even married. What? She married him? She married his son? No way. The defense, however, claimed Willett's son was the actual killer. Oh my God. His head and the murder weapon have not been recovered. Oh, wow. Yo. Oh, my God. The son married his father's wife. The son married the father's wife. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. I gotta watch this video. I also want to watch this one too. I gotta watch this one also. I gotta hear what's his name says about this case. Oh man, we gotta watch this afterwards. Hold on. I want to hear what what's his name says. Brian. Wow.
Latasha Daniels knocked on the door of Pastor Brodus Perry.
I gotta watch this. Hold on a second. Let me see. This is the crime. This is a trial. The full opening statements. Let's listen to the opening statements. Wow, that's insane. Opening statements. Let's listen.
On August 7th of 2023, the defendant, Devyn Michaels, brutally murdered and savaged the body of her ex, Jonathan Willett.
That woman, Susie Q. How you doing, Susie Q? You're saying that the woman. Let me write this down. Where? You said that woman was also married once to Robert Baker from the Monica Cementi case. Really? She was married to another person in another big case? I don't know. I never followed the Monica Cementi case. What case is that? And what happened in the Monica Cementi case? That's crazy. Wild Dog, you said he only married her because he was scared he would get his head chopped off too? Oh my God. That's not why. Get out of here.
But the story did not begin on August 7th of 2023.
What? She was a prostitute? This lady was a prostitute? Oh, my God. And was married to Robert Baker. He killed Monica's husband. Oh, my God. What? Wow.
And all I can say is buckle up because you're in for a wild ride.
You're in for a wild ride.
This is Jonathan in life.
Wow.
It's Jonathan's 2 young children that he shared with the defendant. Both girls, faces blocked out. They're preteen young children.
Wow.
You will learn during the course of this trial that John had a son from a prior relationship named Devyn.
That's crazy, yeah.
That after Devyn was born...
Thank you for the info. Thanks for the info.
Devyn's mother, eventually getting into a relationship with the defendant. They then had these 2 children together. They separated, and there was a custody agreement that was ordered by the family court in which the victim had full physical custody of the girls. You will learn that the defendant was not happy about that situation, that the defendant wanted to have control of her girls, and she wanted to start a new life with Devyn, the same Devyn that is John's son. On August 7th of 2023, Yoko Willett, an elderly woman, woke up to find her dead son in his room with what she referred to as his face and neck missing.
Wow.
This is the 911 call.
Face and neck missing. Face and neck. Her face and neck missing.
Yes, this is Yoko Willett. My number is, address is 2698 Aradura Drive, Henderson, Nevada. Yeah, 702-203-8975.
Exactly what happened now.
Okay, I went downstairs and my son is on the bed and all bloody. I open the cover. It's all bloody. I don't know. Can you come over?
Yeah, we're going to help you. What happened to him, you know?
I have no idea. I drove to the outside this morning.
Is he awake now? Is he awake?
I think he's dead.
Listen to me,
She said, I think he's dead.
I'm calling for help, okay? How old is your son?
About 46, I think.
Is he breathing?
Oh, bloody all over. Huh?
Where's he bleeding from him?
I don't know, from the neck or something.
Do you see any weapons around him?
No.
Will he have harmed himself? Can you tell?
What?
Did he look like he hurt himself at all? Like, maybe shot himself?
No idea. The dog was on the yard. I told him, I didn't know he was trying to move out from my house.
Okay.
And his girlfriend was here yesterday.
Okay. When's the last time you saw him? Yeah, when's the last time you saw him okay? How long ago?
Last night.
Last night?
Yeah. I think somebody has to come to eat.
Okay, yeah, we're already on the way, okay? We're going to try and help him before we get there. Do you have a defibrillator available at your house?
Huh?
Do you have the defibrillator available at your house, the shocking machine?
I don't.
That's okay. Now, what I want you to do is, do you feel safe to get ready that stuff so we can try to just...
That is what police found when they arrived at the Willett residence. Jonathan on his bed in his bedroom. As you can see, his head is missing. Large blood stain at the foot of the bed there, and a large amount of blood underneath where his head should be. Officers eventually removed the cover from his body and noted several chemical burns, or what appeared to be strange chemical burns on his body. And a very clean decapitation that you can see there. Henderson Police Department was responsible for the investigation. After first responders arrived on scene, clearly couldn't render any medical aid to the victim, they locked down the scene. Homicide investigators are then enlisted and take over. Along with the homicide investigators, they bring out an army of crime scene analysts and treat this case obviously very seriously, and they go into the home after executing a search warrant. When they go into the home, they obviously focus on the bedroom, but they do a pretty thorough search of the entire residence, the curtilage, the backyard, the front, the trash cans, the upstairs bedrooms, the kitchen, the living room, and these are the items that they find. A couple of chemical bottles, obviously relevant for the potential chemical burns on the victim's body.
Oh my God.
They find some interesting writings that you'll see a little bit more of later.
Writing?
Demonstrating that there was a contentious custody case going on between the victim and someone at that point, someone. They see out front John's moving truck, the victim's moving truck. You will learn that he had a moving business. There's a trailer on the back. It's parked a little cattywampus, going the wrong way on the street and poking out into the street as though he may have planned on moving after he last parked that car or truck. But the items that weren't found are what was particularly notable for the investigators.
Murder weapon. John's head. John's head. Damn. What's missing, guys? John's head. Here's a list of the missing items. Wow.
They didn't find whatever this person used to cut his head off.
That's crazy.
They did not find his head. They did not find his wallet.
Wow.
They did not find his truck keys, and they did not find his phone. They interviewed Yoko, and the gentleman above Yoko's photo is Yoshida, her partner. According to Yoko and Yoshida, the defendant, who they referred to as Nikki and knew as Nikki, ultimately identified as Devyn Michaels, was the last person to see Jonathan alive. Nikki and John had been moving the girls and John's items from this Paladura address to Nikki's address on Porcupine Rim that she shared with Devyn.
How did she get away with that?
A temporary period over the summer, the young girls. They learned that Nikki and John returned to this address, the Paladura address, for the last time at 10 p.m. on August 6th, or around 10 p.m. They learned from Yoko that about 1 a.m. she was going downstairs for a glass of water and ran into the defendant, who she will describe to you when you hear from her as she appeared to be startled to see me. The defendant and Yoko have a conversation. It's relatively brief. Yoko's in the kitchen cleaning up some dishes. The defendant has now entered the kitchen, and they begin to talk when the defendant tells Yoko, John's asleep. Don't go in there. Those aren't her words. You'll hear this through the course of the trial. She says, John's asleep. He's passed out. We have plans for him to move some more stuff in the morning. Kind of don't bother him kind of thing. Yoko then noticed that the lights were on in John's room, but decided, hey, if he's asleep, I'm not going to go in there. She returns back upstairs. Yoko went to sleep, leaving Nikki or the defendant alone in the home. You will learn very clearly that there were only 4 people in the home at the time of this incident: the victim, the defendant, Yoko, and Yoshida. Yoko also will tell you that around 8 a.m. she found John without a face. You probably heard from the 911 call, there's a bit of a language barrier. She'll do her best to describe what she initially saw and the shock, obviously, that ensued. So the defendant is the last person to see him, so investigators are very curious to speak with her. Homicide detectives summon her to the scene. They get a hold of her via a phone number given by a neighbor. She answers that phone. It's her phone. She agrees to come to the scene, leaving Devyn and the girls are with the defendant as well. She, in her initial interview, says John is her ex. They share the 2 children together, that they spent the whole day together on August 6th, moving, shopping for the girls' school supplies, etc. Everything's normal from her perspective. That evening, they were moving the girls' things into her home on Porcupine, and she was, in fact, at the Paladura residence last night doing that. She would go on to describe it's a normal night, there's nothing out of sorts, and that John was alive and well in the garage when she left. Remember that. Further investigation, of course, occurs. Homicide detectives are treating this very seriously. You will learn from many of them that when a homicide such as this comes in, they divide duties. There's too much for one person to do. And so although there is a lead detective who goes by the name of Dennis Ozawa, Detective Ozawa was not in any way the only person investigating this case. He had an entire team, and you will hear from many of those people. You will learn that one big thing in the modern days of investigation is video cameras. They're everywhere in our valley, so they canvass all around. The Palo Duro residence is kind of right in the middle of all those yellow markers. They canvassed all these different addresses for anything who saw, heard anything, and anyone who had a camera. Some of those were fruitful, some of them were not. They knocked on the doors where video cameras were visibly present. They even knocked on doors where they weren't present in the hopes that maybe someone saw or heard something. And they gathered a lot of footage. We're going to do our best during the course of this trial to streamline it for you. There's hundreds of hours of footage, and we're going to present it in the best way we can. They also learned that there is a neighbor directly to the left of the homicide scene who had a motion-activated Ring camera, which will become important later in the trial. There also was an autopsy, of course. The Henderson Detective Ozawa attended that autopsy. You will hear from the medical examiner in this case, Dr. Stephanie Yagi with the Clark County Coroner's Office, who enlisted the assistance of a forensic anthropologist, Dr. Burns, who works out of UNLV.
Yeah.
You will learn that Dr. Yagi surmised that the cause of death was homicide.
BRB.
And the manner of death was homicide. You will learn that she noted the non-thermal chemical burns on the body, which did not contribute to his death, but were notable for investigative purposes. Something important I want you to keep in the back of your mind is there were no bleeding injuries anywhere else on the body, so everything was focused neck and above. You will learn that the decapitation occurred post-mortem. There are histological reactions that the body has if this type of thing happens while you're still alive and your body is trying to actively repair itself. None of those were present during the course of the autopsy, and so the doctor will testify that this was a post-mortem decapitation. As I mentioned, she enlisted the assistance of a forensic anthropologist, Dr. Burns. You will hear from her as well. She will talk about the science behind what she does, and in this particular case, she was enlisted for the main purpose of determining what was used to cut off Mr. Willette's head. She will tell you that she did microscopic examination. During the course of that thorough examination, she determined very clearly that there were two separate instruments used to chop off his head. She even can narrow it down by time because of the layering of the artifacts on the bones. And so she will surmise and testify that first, a serrated or non-serrated knife was used, so a knife, whether serrated or not. When that was unsuccessful, the defendant then used a powered saw of some sort. She can't narrow it down to class. You will learn, or class of tool. You will learn that the bones in the neck, the cervical spine, are very small. There are areas on it which would reflect these markings, but they are so small that she can't really surmise what type of saw. She'll testify that if it's a long bone, she has seen cases with dismemberment, involving dismemberment, but not a decapitation. But with dismemberment of larger bones, you can see more, which allows you to narrow down the type of saw that was used, but here that's not possible. Nonetheless, she will testify clearly that it was two different instruments, knife first, saw.
She's saying that she didn't do it. She pleaded that she did not do it. But, I don't know. What we're hearing now is I don't know, two different instruments, knife and saw. I mean, is she saying that she didn't kill him and that her new boyfriend, her husband did? Or I don't know what's going on. I don't know that she's saying that she didn't do it all of a sudden. At first, she pleaded guilty. This lady's retarded, man. She pleaded guilty, and then she pleaded not guilty. After they explained it to her what's happening last week during the after the hearing, they had a hearing, and then she pleaded not guilty at the hearing recently.
Further investigation also revealed what Mr. Draskovich alluded to in jury selection, a very non-traditional family situation. And I kind of mentioned this a little bit earlier. The investigation revealed that the defendant, after splitting with John, ultimately married his son, Devyn. Devyn moves in with her. They are together for an extended period of time. The defendant loses custody of the girls, and eventually the girls end up for a short period of time over the summer of 2023 before school starts, living in the home with the defendant and Devyn. with Jonathan living back at the Paladura residence with his mom and Yashida. This is Clark County Department of Family Services document showing the parent placement verification letter describing that John was awarded full physical custody of the girls on October 27th of 2022.
Wow.
That Jonathan, as I said, and the girls were living at 2698 Paladura at the time. You can see in the document that the defendant had weekly supervised visitation with the girls for an extended period of time. And you will learn through various witnesses that John kind of bent the rules with that and allowed her to see the girls a little bit more than was court ordered. You will also learn that John allowed the girls to stay with the defendant and Devyn, as I mentioned, at the Porcupine Rim address over the summer of 2023, and that Jonathan was going to move in with the defendant and the girls to try to stabilize their lives and basically try to get everyone under the same roof. The girls were having a real hard time with the custody situation, and you know, his main focus was the girls. Obviously, with all this information they've gathered, the defendant is now a person of interest. She's the last person to see John. She's been over there very close in time to his murder. There's all these ties. There's the custody paperwork I showed you earlier, the writings that were in his room. And so they respond to Porcupine Rim. I can't remember if I put a map in here, but I'll just tell you there's...
What's that picture of the phone about?
That shows the distance between the homes. They're about 30 minutes apart. Paladura is in Henderson. Porcupine Rim is in Las Vegas, and it's a pretty good distance, about 30 minutes. The detectives will tell you, and this is Detective Ozawa and Detective Carrie Skinner, that when they go to the residence, they observe the defendant. She's kind of either moving stuff or moving back and forth between the home and the vehicle, and they note a couple of things before they approach and make contact with her. You see the Nissan Armada, which is the defendant's vehicle, looks pretty clean and shiny. You will see that cell phone on the right. The detectives observed that when they first drove up, kind of sitting in the rocks near the driveway. Thought, okay, that's weird, but we're not going to touch it. We're not executing a search warrant yet. They leave it be, and then they make contact with the defendant to interview her again, because now they know some more things, and things aren't quite adding up, and they want to know a little bit more. They make contact with the defendant, and this is prior to them going into the home and executing a search warrant on the home. They get a little more information, but the story generally remains the same, that John recently dated Andrea. This is extra information. But that last night he threw away his engagement ring in the trash can at Paladura, which, remember that. That John wanted to get back together with her romantically, this is new information, and move in, which we already know to provide stability for the girls. She mentioned that Yoko does not know Devyn and I are married.
Wow, crazy.
She claimed that her marriage with Devyn was one of convenience for insurance purposes and non-romantic and not sexual in nature. You will learn, and you'll actually hear it, the interview. During this interview, out in the police vehicle in front of Porcupine Rim, the girls walk up, and you can hear them. They're sweet little voices, and they're like, "This is Daddy's phone. This is Daddy's phone. This is why he wasn't answering." The detectives realize that's kind of important. They take the phone from the girls, or the girls give it to them, and the detectives note blood on the phone. Nothing important. They ask the defendant, "Well, how did this get here?" And she responded generally that he must have left it here earlier in the day when he was moving, and I don't know. I mean, there's a cigarette butt over there. I know he smoked cigarettes. It's by where the phone was. He probably left it. And the detectives are a little suspicious of that. They ask her a few more questions. Again, you're going to hear this stuff in the audio recording. So I've summarized it. And then ultimately at the end, she again sticks with this. John was alive and well in the garage when I left. As I mentioned, the detectives then obtain a search warrant and execute that search warrant on the home. They also get the warrant for the vehicles. You'll learn that that white moving van is Devyn's work van. He was a home security installer. He did various jobs for a legitimate company. They searched that vehicle. Nothing of evidentiary value found in that vehicle. You can also barely see behind the van. There's a small sedan that's inoperable, but they search it nonetheless. They find nothing of evidentiary value. When it comes to the defendant's Nissan Armada, they photograph it on the outside, but then they apply seals to every opening, and then they tow that to have it searched later at their lab. You will learn they find in the garage the Ring cameras from John's home. A little weird. They grab them up, they seize them pursuant to the search warrant in the hopes that maybe since these are the cameras from John's home, it captured something. There is no footage, unfortunately, associated with it. They issued administrative subpoenas and attempted to obtain footage from Ring.
No footage?
There was no footage because he didn't have the right account to store the Ring footage in the cloud. and I'm butchering the technical terms, I'm sure, but you'll hear all this from witnesses. They also noted that there was no SD card in the cameras themselves, but nonetheless, they took them, they seized them pursuant to the search warrant, just to make sure.
No SD card.
We'll also learn they find several of defendants' writings throughout the home describing kind of the relationship with Devyn, not exactly how the defendant described it to them to begin with. Very importantly, exactly how the defendant
what did it say? I'm looking at the letter on the right side. My dearest love, I can't begin to tell you how grateful I am on you, for you. Something is no wow. It's so hard to read this. Be there, beside you, and make such day a blessing. The moment you held me in your arms, I know I did not want to something anymore. It's an honor. It's what? It's, I don't know. It's me. You drive me wild. You drive me wild. Feel completely full with your love. I know you don't judge me. You take me as I am. Even on my cranky days, I will something by yours, mine, nodding gray. You are my man. Thank you. I will something. All right, it's hard to read it. I'm trying to read it. It's hard to read it.
To begin with, very importantly, they find the defendant's purse. Inside her purse, they find the victim's Social Security card, along with one of her work cards. This is the defendant's bedroom. What I've circled there is basically her underwear drawer.
Braxton, what's up? Yes, the Frankenstein movie was really good. I loved it. Great movie. I highly recommend everybody watch Frankenstein movie.
Execute a search warrant. You go through everything. You basically toss the place. And when they were searching the defendant's underwear drawer, they found something. My mouse is freezing on me here. Very important. They find several layers of knotted plastic bags, and inside they find the victim's wallet, current identification, and his only set of truck keys. After the search warrant, they speak with the defendant again.
They found that in her house? Or where? Where'd they find that from?
That the defendant's version regarding the phone is that she has no idea how it ended up there. They confront her with the blood on the screen.
Yeah, I had no idea. You're right.
She initially says, oh, I don't know, and then she says he cut himself moving. Remember when I talked about the autopsy earlier, no other bleeding injuries on the victim's body, remember that? She claims he cut himself while he was moving. There's no evidence to suggest that. They learned John wanted to move in with the defendant so we could have the girls under one roof and parent them. They further learned, although they already kind of know this, that John has physical custody of the girls, and the defendant claims she plays nice with him to kind of keep access to the girls and keep things kosher. They also learned, which is very important, that John was moving in quicker than she expected. They learned not only from the defendant but other witnesses that this idea of them reuniting for the children had been discussed for several months, but that on this night, on August 6th, John began loading stuff into the truck when the defendant is loading up the girl stuff into the truck. And she kind of realizes for the first time he was serious about this and this is going to happen. And you'll learn that that's when the walls start closing in on the defendant and she makes the decision she made. The detectives confront her with the fact that there is no notifications on the phone when the girls provide it. It's black, they open it, and there are no notifications on the screen. But that she had contacted him several times the night before, and that those notifications should be there based on the timing of the phone arriving at her house. They ask her, before telling her what they have found in the home, they ask her, hey, do you have any idea where John's wallet would be? She says very unequivocally, no idea. They then say, well, hey, we kind of found this ID in this wallet in your bedroom. And she then changes her story, and she provides a version. Again, you will hear this audio recording.
Oh, my God.
She says it was back at the Paladura residence.
She's lying. She got caught lying. Look at that. She got caught lying right there. Wow.
She held the plastic bags open, and John placed his items into the bag, and she tied them up right in front of them. And they confront her when the story doesn't make sense over and over, and that's kind of the story she sticks with regard to that.
Well, Braxton, how come you didn't come to my my Discord and watch the movie with us? You should have just came to the Discord and watched it with us. You're a party pooper.
You will learn there was an extensive follow-up investigation after that interview. Although things weren't adding up, although things looked very strange, the detectives did not rush to judgment and arrest her right there. Although all of the victim's property is inside her home, his blood is at her scene, they don't arrest her right there. They choose to do follow-up investigation. You'll learn there was fingerprint analysis that was done, nothing really.
Sean B doesn't show up either. Sean B is scared to show up on my movie nights.
Evidentiary value comes of that. You will learn that DNA processing was done, that the victim's blood was in fact on the phone at her house, and that the defendant's DNA was on the knot of those plastic bags where his property was found inside. You will also learn that an extensive digital investigation was done, and that was in the form of video surveillance, digital forensics, meaning phone dumps. They take the actual devices found. There's 11 found inside her home, including the victims. They plug it into a machine. They'll talk about the technology. They're able to extract the data from the phone, and they find several things of note. They also do a call detail record investigation. That is the records that your cell phone maintain or are maintained on your cell phone, everybody's cell phone, with the company you use for service. And those records not only show incoming and outgoing messages and calls, but they also show location data, because every time you place a call or receive one, you are pinging on some kind of tower and leaving a trail of where you've been. Not a precise trail, but a general trail of where you've been. They also pull Burla. Burla is a lot more precise than the cell phone towers. That is an infotainment system inside the Nissan Armada. And they're able to extract that data, and I'll show you that in a moment. They very clearly get a timeline based upon the Burla. The defendant's vehicle is at the victim's home by 10 o'clock at night. The vehicle activates but does not move at about 11 o'clock at night. The vehicle leaves the home for good at 2:04 a.m. 2:04 a.m. on August 7th, and you'll see that in a moment. I've noted here that the video surveillance, DFL, and CDR rule out Devyn. Obviously, he was interviewed. You will hear from him during the course of this trial, but they treat him as a suspect. Obviously, there's some fishy circumstances. They're not just pinning this on the defendant because what she's saying doesn't make sense. They're looking into both the defendant and Devyn and others. The video surveillance that I'm referring to is kind of wide-ranging. There is one particular camera you're going to learn about that was near the Porcupine Rim residence, the defendant's home. That is a full-time camera. It's not a motion-activated camera. That allows them to see the home, see what vehicles left, came and went at any given time, and they clearly rule out Devyn from that video. In addition, I mentioned earlier, there's video surveillance from next door to the victim's home that captures the defendant at around 11 a.m. going to her vehicle, moving it slightly, and then ultimately leaving. Gotta love technology.
Allie Books, how you doing, Allie?
Here are a couple of additional clips.
Why are you up so late, Allie? What are you doing?
Video surveillance. The one on the left is the defendant with the victim the night before when they're doing the moving. It shows us that they are together, that no third party is present. It's just them. They go into a store, they buy an item, and they leave. And then 2:28 a.m., the defendant is alone. It kind of clipped off on this particular picture, but the defendant is alone in her vehicle after she leaves the residence and goes back to her home, ultimately landing there about 2:46 a.m. Those digital forensic examinations I mentioned become relevant, especially when it comes to Devyn. There's much more than this, but I'm trying to.
Well, if you want my name on Discord, you have to send me an email to Uptown193, and ask for my link. Ask for a link to my Discord, and I'll send it to you. That's how it's always been done, and we always mention that while we're live streaming here. If you want the Discord link, you got to email me. And you sent me a Facebook invite? I have to check my Facebook to see where the invite from you. I haven't seen that.
Narrow it down for the opening statement. This particular message was sent from Devyn to the defendant. As you can see at 10:36 p.m. See you when you get back. I'm going to sleep. Girls are in the living room. And the video surveillance supports that. This image you're seeing now is the CDR.
Yo, Cakes Boo, come to America already. Let's go. Stop procrastinating and keep making excuses. You need to come to America and check it out. You're 40, right? Time to come to America, girl. Let's go.
Our cell tower location data. There is much more to it when the witness testifies. There's a bunch of animated videos you're going to see. Just for this purpose, I did a screenshot. The blue and red represent the victim and the defendant's phone, and the green represents Devyn's phone in our operative time period, showing him across town when that last message was sent and throughout the evening. You also see the burla that I referenced earlier. As I mentioned, burla leaves actual GPS breadcrumbs, like by the foot. So as opposed to just a tower you're hitting on, this is actually showing the track. And you're going to see very clearly when the defendant came and went from the victim's residence on the night of August 6th, as well as when she left on August 7th. After all of this information is gathered, it's very clear that the defendant did this to the detectives. They make the decision to place her under arrest for murder with use of a deadly weapon. After she is arrested, she is interviewed again. This time they try with two different detectives. Obviously, the statement she gave earlier were inconsistent, and so they send in a couple of other detectives, and you'll hear from that detective as well. In this particular interview, the defendant acknowledged that she realized John was actually moving in, that at the time of the murder, she was giving John a massage on the bed.
There you go.
While he was lying on his stomach, the defendant got up, walked over to the fireplace, and grabbed a large, what she referred to as a stick or maybe a candle holder. It's a large, heavy object. John was lying on his stomach, not a threat, in the midst of a massage, face down, unexpecting, and the defendant admits that she returned to the bed, bashed him over the head with
oh my God.
stick.
She admit to that. She already admitted to all this? How can you admit to that and then change your mind and then say, I didn't do that? Well, get out of here. That's crazy. What?
That John went limp at that time.
And John went, and then head in the head with a club and stick, and that when John went limp at the time. Then he went limp.
You will learn that the defendant refused to acknowledge what she did next. You can make your determination as to why someone might do that.
It cut his head off.
As this trial goes on.
That's crazy.
She refused to tell detectives what she did with John's head or with the weapon.
Wow.
That those items were never recovered.
Wow.
So you need to put together the pieces, as the judge
never recovered.
Described with the rain example.
I wonder what she did with those. I wonder where she buried the head and cut and the knife. Wow.
You will learn that this is the reality of the situation before John was killed.
Look at that guy.
And that the defendant wanted John out of the picture.
And that's her new boyfriend. Wow.
This is the future that she saw, that she wanted, and the only way to have that future was with John out of the picture.
And that's it. That's the guy's son. She killed the father. And then went with the daughter, and then had a relationship with the son. Because he's probably better in bed and got a bigger dick. Damn. That's crazy, man. Wow.
Thank you for your time and attention this week. We truly do appreciate it.
Wow. Wow.
Leo Tolstoy, perhaps one of the greatest authors of all time, in his first book.
Wow.
First novel.
That was some story, man. Wow, that's crazy. That's fucking crazy. OMG. Crazy.
Anna Karenina wrote.
You wonder too, right? Cakes Bill, you wonder? I know.
Sentence.
I wonder.
All happy families are the same. Every unhappy family is unhappy in its own way. Her Honor asked whether we were going to give an opening statement. An opening statement, as Mr. Giordani had laid out, is the time for...
All right, this is the attorney for the defendant now speaking. Everybody, this is the attorney for the defendant speaking now.
Each side to stand before you and tell you what the facts are. It's our chance to give you a roadmap and explain to you what we feel the facts.
I don't even hear it,
ultimately
man.
the truth are.
She said
Oftentimes-
she already admitted to it. She literally said what she did to the guy, and then she changed her mind. Come on.
Sometimes defense attorneys sit back and wait. Don't want to show anything. Let's see what they've got. This case, we're not doing that. We're going to get right out in front of this case, and we're going to tell you what's really going on, and what the state and what their investigation is missing.
I believe so, Ali.
Initially, Mr. Giordani had said, well, buckle up, and I'm telling you, buckle up.
I'm not 100% sure, Ali, but I think so.
You know, oftentimes in the intricacies and complications of human relations, things get unsavory. Things are immoral. I'm going to be showing you things right now, not in a sense to offend you, to cast blame necessarily on the decedent in this case, but to give you a true picture of what was really going on with this unhappy family. Outward actions and outward statements are clues.
Unhappy family, yeah, unhappy.
And we're going to ask you that through the course
Sad,
of this
unhappy
trial,
family.
you keep the idea of motive in mind. Motive authors actions. After the state had learned, the police had learned, concerning the death of Jonathan Willett, they began to conduct a series of interviews. And what's telling, the course of these interviews, is what's discussed, what outward statements are made, and how those are clues to motivations.
Yeah.
Devry is interviewed the day of August 7th, 2023. And at the beginning of his interview, he admits that he's been drinking. He claims that upon hearing of his father's death, he'd got his drink on. But what's telling through the course of what he says and what he doesn't say, he's asked. And again, at first, and you can't blame the detectives, they're trying to do the best they can with a fairly complex situation. They're trying to get a root, a feeling of the root of the relationships between the parties. I mean, you've got Jonathan Willett, who's dead. You've got Devyn, the son that's living with the defendant now in this case, Devyn Michaels. And
So
they're trying to
crazy.
grasp what's really going on. What's going on behind closed doors.
Yeah, what's going on behind closed doors? Guys, let me pause it here for a moment, and let's watch. I gotta watch my boy here watch it. Triangle. Is that the same one? Let me see. Is that the same one? Let me see. Darren Megaloo's Beheading. I think that's it. Yeah, same one. All right, this is guys. This is a court TV video uploaded by my boy, our boy. What's his name? Fuck, I forgot his name. John. Can't think of his whole name. John. What's his name? John. Let's watch it.
The pastor wasn't there, but his wife Tabitha.
Yeah, from the beginning.
Latasha Daniels knocked on the door of Pastor Brodus Perry. The pastor wasn't there, but his wife Tabitha was, and she invited Latasha inside. Then later on, the pastor did return home. It was a house full of tension. And as Latasha was being walked out, she turned and exclaimed, "You broke my heart," to the pastor, and pulled out a gun.
Wait.
And shot him to...
Is this a different case? Is this the same? This is a different case, no? Wait, I'm confused.
Death. Tabitha was also shot, but she survived. Now Latasha Daniels is on trial charged with murder, and tonight we take a look at the defense case.
Latasha Daniels? Is that a different case? What the hell? Devyn Michaels. That's a different case. Devyn Michaels accused. Is it different? Yeah, but why does it say? But why is it titled? The video is titled "Devyn Michael accused of beheading ex in bizarre love triangle." Former adult star Devyn Michaels is accused of accused of belching and beheading her ex in a bizarre love triangle, as she is now married to her son. But the information in the video is about this case. All right, let me watch some of it. I don't know.
What will they argue?
Let me watch
and
it.
Will the accused?
I may have to, I don't know. I have to fast forward, I guess, maybe.
Killer take the stand. But first, in Las Vegas.
Oh yeah. All right. Then he writes, "But first." All right, I got it. So it is. All right.
Brutal death of 46-year-old.
Here we go.
Willett,
That's it. That's him.
Seasoned.
That's the guy. That's the guy who died. Or his head was. This guy's head was cut off. This man's head was cut off. Poor guy. Rest in peace, bro. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, man. I'm so sorry for your death, man. You seem like a nice guy. I am so sorry you died.
Detectives found in August of 2023 with his body decapitated and chemically burned. Willett had been romantically involved.
And chemically burned.
Involved with actress turned adult performer Devyn Michaels. Prosecutors say Michaels struck the fatal blow, then hid his head and disposed of evidence in a grisly departure from justice. Initially, Michaels pleaded guilty to second-degree murder, but during her scheduled sentencing, she abruptly withdrew the plea, claiming she could prove her innocence. Now Devyn Michaels is facing a Vegas jury charged with first-degree murder in a case where the alleged motive will shock you.
I'm Vinny Politan. Thank you.
We're both confused, Ashley.
So much for joining us tonight here on Closing Arguments. And you know, when I was here about 24 hours ago, I was talking about love triangles, right? And how many of these cases and stories we've covered through the years on Court TV. And I talked about some that, stand out more than others. But the bottom line, we've seen a lot of them. And last night, the story, and we're going to talk about it tonight, is about a cheating pastor, right? Caught in this love triangle. His mistress, his girlfriend, comes over to his home and is there with his wife. And then he comes home, the three of them are there, and he ends up dead. And I said that was an unusual love triangle because in many of the love triangles, if the man has two women, he usually kills one of them so the other one doesn't find out. I've seen that many, many times. Scott Peterson, Rabbi Newlander, I get it. But this was unusual that he, in the midst of this love triangle, was the victim. Well, the one tonight is much more shocking than that. Okay? Last night I said, oh, this is unusual. No, tonight this is absolutely jaw-droppingly shocking. The nature of this love triangle and how it plays into this murder trial. And this one is really a family affair involving this woman, Devyn Michaels. Okay, let me lay it out for you so you understand the nature of this shocking love triangle. We begin with Jonathan Willett. He is the victim in this case. He is the one who was killed. He had a relationship with a woman, and together they had a child. That child was a son named Devyn. There he is, Devyn Willett. Okay, so Jonathan is with this woman, but then Jonathan splits from Devyn's mother, so he's no longer with her and has a relationship with Devyn Michaels. Now, Devyn Michaels, the defendant in this case, the former adult film actor, right? So she's out of the business now, but had been in the business for quite some time, making a lot of movies under different names. Okay, now, Jonathan and Devyn start a family. They have two daughters, two preteen daughters at this point. Now, they never got formally married to one another, which to me is a little surprising. You live in Vegas, just head down to the Elvis Chapel. Takes 5 minutes, right? But they didn't. They didn't get married, but they were sort of living as some form of a family, right? Mom, dad, and two little girls. Now, Jonathan was granted full custody of their two children, but in an attempt to stabilize their lives, the children's lives, Jonathan was in the process of moving in with Devyn Michaels at the time that he was killed. So they were living separately. He gets custody, but he's like, I'll move in. It'll be better for the girls. Now, at some point, and he was in the process of moving in when he was killed and when he died. But at some point before Jonathan was killed, okay? Before Jonathan was killed, Devyn got married to Jonathan's son, Devyn. You follow? I don't know if it's a triangle anymore. I don't know if you can call it a triangle the way it's all playing out here. But Jonathan's son, Devyn, marries Devyn. I told you it was a little shocking. Now, the nature of the marriage. They said the marriage was out of convenience for insurance purposes, like health insurance or something. But it was revealed that, yes, indeed, this marriage was consummated. This marriage was, in fact, romantic. Okay, let's take a listen.
Of course my mic was muted. Maybe it's better off my mic was muted. Because I just cannot believe how wrong that is for a man or a woman to marry their father's ex-wife or mother's ex-boyfriend. Why would you do something like that? How can you do something like that? You marry your father's ex-wife where she had 2 kids with him? Why? Why would you marry that woman or man? No, it's wrong. It's wrong, man. It should be illegal. It shouldn't even be allowed. It should be illegal. I don't agree. I'm sorry. That really bothers me. That bothers me. I'm sorry. It bothers me. I think that's messed up. Don't think it's right, man.
To Devyn Michaels explaining, and this is a police interview, and you're going to hear the audio, explaining the family situation to the detective. Now, if you were shocked by what we just went through here.
Yeah, I'm shocked.
I was shocked when I found this out.
Yeah, thank you.
The detective is shocked as well. Take a listen.
So you guys have been off and on since when?
No, we're not off and on. We're just trying to make a family work. Like, we're not physically intimate or anything like that. We're just trying to, because the girls really want us with one house, and it saves on gas, so we're trying to make that.
So do you have a boyfriend or anything right now?
Yeah, I'm married.
You're married?
Yes, sir.
I was not told that information. I thought you guys...
I'm married, but... Okay.
We were told that you guys are possibly trying to get back together.
No, we're trying to get everyone in one house and be a family.
Oh, okay.
For the girls.
So, who were you married to?
I'm married to Devyn.
The son?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. So, Devyn, his son, and you are now married. How long have you been there?
Almost 2 years.
Oh, my God.
And yeah, John knows.
That's crazy. That's crazy, man. Wow. That is my face. This is shock. What the fuck is going on here? Yo, oh my God.
Devyn took the stand.
Oh,
let's hear him talk about the relationship with his wife and what his father knew or didn't know about this.
Fucking funny.
At some point prior to that, had he learned that you had actually married Nikki?
Yes, sir.
How was that conversation, or if you had a conversation about it?
He sent me a text message asking or saying, I don't know what you're doing, but it's not right.
Yeah,
And
exactly. It's not right. Fucking guy, this guy, what a fucking moron this guy is. You're a fucking moron. I wish I could meet this guy and kick his ass. I wish I could meet this guy and kick his ass. Wow.
responded with half of what you know is true and the other half isn't.
Wow.
So your dad clearly knew you were formally married.
Yes, sir.
Do you remember the date you got married?
No, sir.
Did you ever get divorced?
No, sir.
Is that
you never got divorced? What? The hell? Come on,
something you would like to do?
After this, yes.
Okay. Once this trial is done?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, he
God.
referred to her as Nikki because Devyn has other names, you know, that she used when she was working in the business and has, I think, 2 aliases that are completely different than the name that we're calling her now. So if you hear Nikki, Nikki and Devyn are the same person. Is that clear? Let's bring in the think tank. Joining us tonight, criminal defense attorney, legal analyst Carmen Rowe. Also with us, attorney Ali Benevento, and criminal defense attorney and lawyer Lori on TikTok, Lori Murray. Should we call it a love triangle, Carmen? What is it?
It's a lot, Vinny. And I got to tell you, I've been watching this trial on Court TV and I love it. I can't get enough of it. This is the funnest, includes everything you would ever want from a trial, a triangle, a love affair, a family, all of it.
Yeah. Ali, how would you describe what this arrangement is between Devyn, Jonathan, Devyn, the kids? I mean, I'm looking at it, and I believe that Devyn's daughters are also her sister-in-laws.
Mm-hmm. Dysfunctional is the word that I would use. And yeah, there's got to be a lot of confusion in that house about what to call the different family members because of the dynamic here. It's bizarre. It's Vegas, baby. I don't know.
Yeah, it's Vegas, but a man is decapitated, Lori. At the end of the day, decapitated. And I'm trying to...
he's decapitated.
I'm trying
to... missing.
Yeah. What I'm trying to understand, though, is what does the jury do with this? Like this relationship? Like, how do they process it? How do they use it to uncover what happened here and why it happened?
Well, I think the prosecution is going to do a great job. I don't think it's too difficult to understand. She was, she was involved with 2 different men of the same family, which kind of goes with her adult activities that provide her income. That I think the jury's not going to have a real hard time with this one. They're going to see this for what this is, especially when she's trying to blame the husband's son.
Yeah, but what is this? Like, do you think because she uses different names, she thinks she's different people? Is that possible? That's not possible, right, Carmen? I mean, I'm like, for her, because she's got children. Like, if there weren't children involved here, I would say, okay, whatever. It's all adults doing crazy adult things. She chose to have children with her husband's father.
Vinny, look, my take on this is that the jury's going to see what I see, which is she's a vixen. She's manipulative. And look, she's not only with these two men, based on the testimony I've seen, she was with these two men on the night of this incident, one way or the other. And so I think this jury's going to see her for the person she is, and that's a person that may very well be guilty. What's going to be interesting is to see how the other two men play into this situation. Was she so manipulative that she convinced her lover slash husband slash stepson to help her in this? Was this a self-defense situation? Is that what the defense is going to bring out? Because we know that she withdrew her plea because she has evidence of her innocence.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. What evidence is that?
Can't wait to see what that is.
Great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
me
we're
too.
going to talk about that in a second.
Yeah, me too. I can't wait to see what that is as well. What evidence would you have, lady?
Let me put this out. I want to put out what the prosecutor said in their opening statement and see if this makes sense. All right, the defendant splits from Jonathan. He has custody of their daughters. Devyn marries Devier. The daughters struggle with custody arrangement, and the idea of living under one roof for the children is discussed. When Devyn realizes John is moving in, quote, the walls are closing in, and she makes the decision to kill him. August 7th, 2023, Jonathan discovers her son in his bed with face and neck missing. Jonathan's mother discovers her son in his bed with his face and neck missing. Officers arrive and find a bloody scene.
That's disgusting. Your face and neck missing. How can she do? I can't believe she's able to do that. I cannot believe she's able to decapitate a man and see all that blood. That's got to be hard. I wonder. That's why I can't. That's you know. It kind of makes me think she didn't do it because that's bad. That's bad. Maybe her new husband, the son, did it. Maybe the son killed the guy, and she took responsibility for it, and then gave that back because she didn't want to get in trouble. I don't know, man. That's a tough job, cutting someone's head off. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
Burns on the body and clean decapitation. Jonathan's mother tells police the last person with Jonathan.
It's hard to believe that she's evil. You know. I can't believe that she's that evil. It's tough, man. I don't know. It's tough.
Nikki, also known as Devyn Michaels. Surveillance video shows Devyn leaving the victim's residence at 2:04 a.m. Digital evidence rules out Devier. Cell phone evidence.
So surveillance video shows her leaving the victim's residence at 2 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, after she cut the head off and did all the work. Digital evidence rules out the
corroborates that Devier is at home while the phones of Devyn and John are traveling together. The defendant confesses to bashing John on the back of the head while giving him a massage.
Wow.
She refused.
Defendant confesses to bashing John on the back of the head while giving him a massage. She refuses to acknowledge decapitating him.
Just to acknowledge decapitating him.
Wow.
So when I look at the evidence here, the strength of the evidence, there's also this cleanup that's taking place, I think, or
look at the blood. Look at the blood.
I don't understand the decapitation either.
Let me see that blood.
I don't understand. That's
all that blood right there. Yeah, the bottom of the sneaker is a lot of blood there. Is that her sneaker? I wonder whose sneaker that is.
Taking place, I think, or what? I don't understand the decapitation either. I don't understand that.
Me neither.
I don't understand the decapitation in the context of her claiming. Did I hear somebody say self-defense? I mean, you don't see decapitation in self-defense cases.
There's definitely not decapitation in self-defense, bro. Unless it's a quick decapitation of you with a sword and you cut the guy's head off because he was coming after you with a gun or something. That's the only thing I can see decapitation.
typically. It seems like that's the type of person that seems like that's the type of thing, excuse me, that a person does with a lot of emotion or passion. There's a reason why that man's head was cut off. And I don't think that reason was self-defense. But then again, I'm not sitting in the trial.
Why? That's an important question, Lori. Why? Why at this moment
Honestly,
does she choose to do this?
The why is important, but also is the how. I mean, that takes a very strong person to.
Who's that? Look at the bottom of the screen, guys. VPI, teen rapist walks free. Who is that? A teen rapist walks free? I looked at it another day. That's crazy.
Decapitate somebody. The last person, if you remember, that we saw that did this was Taylor Schabusiness. Both of them seem to be a little bit crazy, but it takes some kind of superhuman strength for a woman, especially to make this kind of incision, especially if they're saying it's a clean cut, and then to clean up and take a trophy away from the scene, which is just baffling. Why? She left the body and took the head. It makes absolutely no sense.
All right. Think Tank staying with us.
She couldn't carry the body, but she was able to carry the head. That's what happened. Maybe she thought she would get away with the body being there and the head gone. I don't know.
All night, they're in on this. We're going to have more on this trial, plus coming up next hour.
Jesse, is justice being served or lost in a teenage plea deal? Tonight, we investigate.
Person. Kind of. I mean, you had resentment for your father. Fair to say?
No, sir.
And then kind of
No,
realized
sir.
who he was as a person. And when you were talking about moving out of Yoko's house, you said, I got out as soon as I could, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's Devyn, who's on the stand. The trial for the murder of his father. He's married to his father's ex-lover, mother of his two daughters. Whatever. Okay. She took a deal. Devyn Michaels took a deal last fall, right? She's charged with first-degree murder. She took a deal for second-degree murder, was facing 10 to 15 years in prison. It was sentencing day, and then this happened.
The way that they manipulated and altered and deleted things is wrong. They should not be able to do it, and they have. And for you to be able to look me in the eye knowing that the things are altered and...
You pled guilty,
Mr. Michaels, you are not to address the state. You are to address me. You are. You're addressing Mr. Giordano. You are going to address me.
I don't know what to do anymore.
Judge, I'm not comfortable with this record. I'm willing to let her out of her plea if the court is inclined.
Wow.
I don't know how to fix this.
That's crazy for her to. I mean, this doesn't. I don't know. In my opinion, I don't think that she's acting. I kind of believe her. I don't know why. I'm sure she did it, but for some reason, her plea over here for saying that she didn't do it and blah 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 blah. I kind of believe her in a way, but not really, because the guy's head is decapitated and gone. But who did that then? Did the son do it? Did someone else do it? What happened? Because she did admit to it in the beginning. She admitted to it in the beginning. And now she's realizing what's going to happen to her, and she's crying. So I don't know, man. I think I don't know. I think she did it, but I'm trying to say maybe something else came about. I don't know. What? Sounded like a cat? Almost undetermined in it. It might be. What sounded like a cat? What are you guys talking about cats? If murder is a connection between women and men, who will win? If murder is a connection between men and women? What do you mean a connection? A fight between men and women? The man would win, usually. It all depends. I'll tell you right now, I'm not letting a woman beat me, so I'm going to win. I don't know about you guys. I'm winning. She is stupid as well as evil. You think so? No, I didn't say it sounded like a cat. I was replying to cat. LOL. Oh, okay. All right.
I need you to understand what I'm saying to you and answer my question. Do you want to withdraw your plea and go to trial?
Yes, please.
All right. This plea is going to be withdrawn.
She wants to withdraw.
The plea was withdrawn, so
That's
she's
crazy.
now facing a potential life in
That's
in
crazy.
prison. The best she can do if she's convicted of first-degree murder is get parole eligibility at 20 years if she gets life with the possibility of parole, but she could get life without the possibility of parole. She had a deal for 10 to 15 years.
Wow.
But at the sentencing, she said, I'm innocent.
She had a deal. 10 to 15 years, guys. That was her deal. I didn't know that. She had a deal with the court, 10 to 15 years for murder. And now she's taking it off. Now she's taking it all off the table to go to trial. Wow, that's crazy. I think she's making a mistake. I think she's making a mistake, man. I don't know.
And they got thrown out.
Wow.
Let's bring back in our think tank. What's going on here? Carmen Rowe, Ali Benevento, Lori Murray. Lori, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Judges really don't like it when you start talking about being innocent when you're
Exactly, Gashi. She's going to get a lot longer. 25 to life.
standing in front of them for a sentencing or a plea. But I think that at this point, she's just kind of a little bit off. I mean, I think you'd have to honestly look at her mental stability at this point, because she's really not accepting the facts that she's already said were true on multiple occasions, because I think she gave a confession to the police too. And, you know, it's really frustrating as a defense attorney when you see a client give up a deal on a case that you know the state can prove. So I feel for her defense attorneys right now.
Where were they?
Paranoid, doesn't she?
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was saying she sounds paranoid. If you listen to the way that she was talking at that hearing, she said, things are being altered. I don't know what to do. She looks and sounds like a woman in crisis. I agree with Lori. It seems like there's something going on mental health wise. She's not making a whole lot of sense. I couldn't tell what she was talking about. I agree. I think she was frustrating the judge, but she's a woman who sounds incredibly paranoid. And I'm not sure if that angle's being explored or not, but that's the way I look at her behavior and her speech at that hearing.
That's the way you have some kind of sympathy for her after what she allegedly did. That's the only way you can have some kind of sympathy for her, because she does look a little unstable in that particular video. But she didn't sound that way in the police interview.
Do you think it's an act?
You know what I think is fascinating? As looking at this, I looked exactly at what you did, Vinny, and I thought, why would she go to trial? Why would she throw away a deal that's capped at 15 for parole eligibility and risk life? I really think there's a defensive theory here that's real. She made admissions that she hit the decedent in the head, doesn't know if he died, and the state doesn't seem to be able to explain where the head is, where the weapon is that decapitated him, and more importantly, looking at the trial today, where all the blood is. And so I think there's a very real defensive theory that if it continues to mount as well as it is, I think there may be some reasonable doubt here that she caused the death of the decedent in this case.
Let me do this.
I can't wait to see.
Let me do this. Let me put on the screen some of the.
This is gonna be an interesting trial. I think I want to focus my attention on this trial. But I'm going to watch the other trial as well a little bit, I guess. But I'll focus my more attention on this trial. It seems more interesting. But the other one seems interesting too. I don't know. It is what it is.
An outline of what the defense case is from their opening statement. They told the jury, or she told the jury, watch for clues in the statements of Devyn. Devyn tells police his marriage to Devyn is out of convenience and they don't sleep in the same bedroom. He's lying about the relationship. The affair between Devyn and Devyn had been going on for years while Devyn was dating his father.
Oh, my God.
When Jonathan was moving back in, it meant Devyn was getting kicked out. Devyn hated his dad, and his dad was taking his home and his wife.
Oh, my God.
Devyn killed his father and left his phone at home when he did it.
Oh.
Here's Devyn on the stand.
Maybe.
When was it that you first learned
He probably did.
the
Maybe he
graphic
did.
nature?
Maybe this guy. Maybe the son did kill him. He probably did kill him. I'm confused. I'm a little up in the air right now. Who killed the father? The son or the mother? Or the wife?
What happened to your dad after his death?
I believe it was a day prior to the phone call that I was sent an article from the Las Vegas News explaining what had happened to my father and that she was involved in it.
At the end of that phone call, somebody hung up. Who did that?
She did.
When you were telling her, I'm leaving to California, I'll leave the dog, had you already planned when all this kind of madness started to break it off?
Yes, sir.
Was that essentially what the jury just heard, your breakup conversation?
Yes, sir.
Do you remember if you ever talked again after that?
We never talked again after that.
Look at me. Did you kill your father?
No, sir.
Did you have any involvement in killing your father?
No, sir.
Did you have any involvement in what happened to his body after?
No, sir.
Pass witness.
Yeah, right. I
All
don't
right,
know.
Carmen, viable villain?
I don't know.
Maybe. Look, I think he did great on direct, but there were a lot of lies exposed on cross, and I think they really put, again, a great case out.
I want to watch him tomorrow. We're gonna watch him tomorrow, guys. See what he said, and watch him testify ourselves. The full testimony.
Out there that he lied consistently about their relationship. He lied about seeing her at 2 a.m. All the different lies that really matter in this case, because we're supposed to use a lot of circumstantial evidence to piece this whole thing together as to what happened that night and how exactly his head is gone and that they can't locate it. They suggest that she maybe took it from the home and discarded it somewhere, but they're not really piecing that together. And it seems like what they're using to give us this narrative is Devyn. And with all the lies that he told on the stand today that were exposed by the defense, I think they're going to have a tough road ahead.
I'd be interested to see that. You know, I didn't get to watch today, but we talked about it being really difficult to decapitate someone. At least there you have another viable suspect that could probably have handled the decapitation better than a female. The only issue, again, that we're not talking about here is the surveillance video that picked her up with Jonathan, but it didn't pick up the son with him. So he's not on camera, so they're going to have a problem with that.
Well, they also have a problem with the weapon, but the good news is that Devyn happens to have those type of weapons at his home, and they talked about that today as well. But I thought what was really interesting is
Why does he look so different here? That's his son?
And they talked about that today.
He looks a lot different here. That's his son, right? Former adult film actor. That looks like a different. That looks like that. It looks different here with the hairstyle
As well. But I thought what was really interesting is they talked about this notion that there isn't enough
in there. Wow, that's a big difference.
Blood, there wasn't enough time, and that there has to be some gap on the canvas that the state's not filling in. And I think it goes back.
How do you kill your father? Seriously, how can you kill your father or your mother? How can you do something like that? If you kill your mother or your father, you're automatically insane. I'm sorry. You're automatically insane if you kill your own parent who brought you into life. Wow.
to this reasonable doubt.
Wow.
Not that we're going to know at the end of this trial exactly what happened, but that there's going to be so many questions that we're not sure that she's the person who caused his death, even if you believe her admissions that she hit him in the back of the head during a massage.
Now, I started everything with the diagram, trying to understand the relationships. And Allie, at the end of the day, I think that becomes the most.
What did she hit him with? Does anybody know what she hit him with in the back of the head during a massage? I'm not letting my girlfriend massage me anymore, that's for sure, in the future. No more future massage. When I get a girlfriend, I'm not letting her massage me.
Important thing for the jury. Like, what exactly was the relationship between Jonathan and Devyn? Were they moving back in because they were getting back together? Was Devyn out of the picture? Was Devyn jealous? Or was Devyn angry that Jonathan was coming in and didn't want him interfering with her new life with Devyn? So to me, that's the crucial part here, is understanding and figuring out the nature of these relationships.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. And arguably, both of them could have had some motive in trying to get rid of him. And so I think that adds to the difficulty of the dynamic as well. If you can understand the relationships, which I don't know that there's any understanding to be had there, but she has a reason to want to get him out of the picture, as does Devyn. So that further complicates everything. Could have been either of them.
Absolutely. And our coverage continues tomorrow on this case on Court TV. You'll watch it. But we're also watching another case involving another love triangle. This woman, Latasha Daniels, accused of murdering her former boyfriend, the pastor, who was married. She took the stand today. You'll see her testimony when we come back.
I'm not sure. You guys just, all right, let's.
To my family, I'm sorry that I have let you down. I tried my best to be the person you all thought I was. I tried to be the person you could count on and be proud of. However,
This is a different case, guys. This is not the same case. This is a different case.
I have been depressed for a long time.
I gotta get off.
I did well with coping until the past 2 years. My world changed February 24th, 2017. And this just keeps getting worse. I know what I have been through, maybe nothing to some. And you don't understand why I couldn't bounce back. I have fought hard for so long to keep things together. I didn't trust anyone to know deep down how bad I was struggling. Only a handful of people knew, but they couldn't help me. To my fellas, I'm so sorry that I have let you down. I have fought hard to be the best mother I could be to each of you. I pray that what I have taught you will stick with you forever. Please don't be ashamed of me.
What was the purpose of the gun?
I wanted to end my life, and I felt like that was going to be the best way to do it.
So that's Latasha Daniels in court reading her suicide note that she says she wrote before purchasing a gun that she said she was going to use to take her own life. But it didn't exactly work out that way. Instead, she went to the home of the man that she was sleeping with. He was having an affair with her because he was married to someone else.
Oh my God.
That was the pastor.
Oh Lord.
She went to the pastor's home. The pastor's wife was there.
Wow.
She invited her in because they knew each other. And then the pastor got there. And then a short while later, as she's leaving the apartment, she tells the pastor, "You broke my heart," shoots and kills him.
Oh my God.
Shoots the pastor's wife.
Oh
who
my
survives,
God. Wow.
Testified against her.
Wow.
So now, Latasha Daniels on the witness stand giving her version of what happened that night when she shot and killed the pastor.
Yo, that's crazy. What in the world is happening? Wow. And why is a pastor cheating on his wife? Are you kidding me? A married pastor is cheating on his wife with another woman? Oh my God. Oh my God.
I told him, well, we still haven't told Tab. You've always said something about telling Tab, so we haven't told Tabitha. And
Wow.
he said, okay, well, tell Tabitha. He told me to go to the apartment and just talk to her about tennis until he got there, and that once he was there, we would tell her. He had to go to his boss house to drop off something. And so he gave me a backstory as to what to tell her if she asked me while I was in town, and we left. But before leaving, we came to the resolve that once we told Tabitha about the relationship, we had a trip that was planned to go. We was going to Kentucky. If she said yes, then that would be a new start, a fresh start. But if she said no, then that would be the trip that we would end. I went to the apartment and knocked on the door.
Did you talk to Tabitha?
Yes, we talked. We talked about tennis, but right before we kind of got into the tennis talk, she had made a phone call to Brodus.
And what did she say to him?
She told him, she asked how long it was going to be before he got there. And then she told him she had a surprise for him. When he came in, he didn't look surprised or anything, which is what I thought he would do since he knew I was going to be there. But he was just like, I think Tam was like, surprise. And he was like, this is not a surprise. I thought you had some keto cookies for me. And as we were talking, he would make references to me drinking and would say, well, I think you're going to have to stay the night. So I'm thinking, okay, well, this is about to get into this conversation. But he never would give me eye contact. But he would continue to make, like, we have to clean off the bed in there because it has a lot of clothes on it. And, but I'm still looking at him to get, like, to see where you're going with this. But he never did lead into the conversation. I think I was more nervous because I just didn't know which way it was going to go, but hopeful.
At some point, you lost hope.
Yes.
And you said you were going to leave.
Yes.
Why did you decide to leave?
I saw that it wasn't going anywhere. Like I said, he was not giving me eye contact. So I knew, or I felt like he had changed his mind. And I just didn't want to keep sitting there feeling, at that point, stupid.
What happened after you said you were going to leave?
Tabitha got up, he got up, and so she began to tell me about watching for the police, you know, because I had been drinking.
Had you drank a lot?
No, not at all. But she still was just letting me know. And she began to walk toward the door. And I asked him, would he walk me out? He said no. And I said, why not, sir? That's Southern hospitality for you to walk a woman outside when it's dark. Because I wanted to just get him to see, like, what happened. Why didn't you follow through? But he refused to walk me out. So Tabitha opened the door and was walking out. I was still trying to get him to walk me out. And as I reached into my pockets to get my keys, I remember being outside the door, and then the next thing, I was standing in their kitchen.
Do you deny that you shot Brodus Perry?
I do not.
Do you deny
I do not.
that you shot Tabitha?
I don't, but I know it wasn't intentional.
Wow.
Did you mean to shoot Tabitha?
No.
Wow.
I wasn't trying to hurt anybody.
Why'd you do it then?
When you
Why?
went to that apartment,
Why did you do it? Why did you do it? You didn't. Why are you there? Why did you do it, lady? Oh my God. So sad.
day, did you intend to use your gun on either Brodus or Tabitha?
No.
When you went there, what was your purpose in going there?
Thinking that I was going to get some kind of ending to the relationship.
And what do you mean?
Like, okay, of course, after I got to, you know, talking to him at the lounge, we had a plan. It was either going to be a start or an ending, but it was something that I could see. Like, I knew it wasn't just a disappearing text, but still, I love you, you know. So I went to the apartment, I guess, for lack of a better word, to get some resolve.
Anyone?
I don't know what she's doing on that stand. It's crazy.
I'd like to say you have picked a great couple of topics. Sorry, I didn't mean to overtalk you guys. You picked a great couple of topics for Ladies' Night. I mean, this is just all the women going crazy. I personally believe that this woman was in crisis. She had mental health problems. She, you know, she's written a suicide note on her way into this place. So I don't know if it's a defense. She's absolutely admitting that she did it, but it's almost like she's looking for some jury nullification and some help for.
Hey, the pastor is using her and lying to her. Come on already. Come on. She knew he was married. She knew he's a pastor. She knew she was fucking around with a pastor who's married. She was doing the wrong thing. She was wrong. He was wrong. But she shouldn't have went there and killed him and shot the husband and shot the wife as well. She was wrong, man. It's ridiculous. She should have just walked away and said, all right, I'm not doing this no more. I'm done. Fuck that guy. Fuck that pastor. And ratted him out if she wants to rat him out and get him in trouble with the church and people like that. What she did was totally wrong and uncalled for. It's ridiculous.
The intent portion of it, and the intent not being there to harm either the wife or the boyfriend. She's making it sound like she just snapped.
But do you find her
I completely
believable,
agree.
Lori? I mean, she's not sympathetic at all. Sorry.
What? I thought she was very sympathetic. The woman's got tears and snot, excuse my language, running down her face as she's reading that letter. Yes, I found her credible.
She broke my heart. I think it's the saddest story I've seen.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you, Carmen. Let me ask you, Carmen. Is the defense really just trying to make the pastor look bad, and this is a guy who deserved to get shot and killed? Is that like you're not necessarily going to argue that to the jury, but is that really what's happening here?
Absolutely. And in Texas, it's a real defensive theory that some people think is based in the law, but it's based in reality. That if I hate him enough and I am so sympathetic for her that I may find some reasonable doubt or some things that the state missed, or
he's a good-looking guy. Look at him. He's a handsome, good-looking guy. Young, handsome. She fell in love with the guy. She fell in love with him.
Lori pointed out, and I think that's really what the game's about legally.
And now he's dead.
Is the culpable mental state of intentionality and premeditated murder, that's not what this was about. So I think that's the real defensive theory, but it is a heartbreaking story, and I believe her. I don't know.
Especially when you look at, her past, her 2 marriages and, just the relationships leading up to this, and the fact that she was seeking counseling from this man. And according to her, on the first night of the counseling, he's taken advantage of her and her emotional state. So, yeah, I found her extremely credible, and I feel really bad for her.
I think the pastor, if he wasn't shot and killed in cold blood, could be the bad guy in all of this, right?
Yeah.
Could be the villain of villains.
Yeah,
But she went and purchased a gun. She brought the gun with her. And then instead of getting the keys out of the car to just leave, she admits she took the gun out of the purse. And I think the real problem that she's going to have, she also shot Tabitha, who is the real victim in all of this.
I know.
She lost her husband. Her husband was the system. Let Jesse Butler
She killed the real victim in this whole situation. Wow, that's fucked up, man.
Could be the villain of villains. But she went and purchased a gun. She brought the gun with her. And then instead of getting the keys out of the car, the real victim in all of this. Trying to convince a jury that the pastor is the bad guy. The sympathy in the case, Allie.
Sympathy, because I see what everybody's saying. Oh, she appears so sympathetic. And I'm not questioning that her tears are genuine, but girl, just leave. I mean, she did. She took the gun. She went in there. Yes, she was suicidal. Yes, she may have been taken advantage of, but it was very clear at some point in time during that night that he was not leaving his wife for her. Girl, get up and leave. And instead, she got up. She had a gun in her pocket. She knew that she chose to use it. And then she got on the witness stand and told us all about it. I don't understand.
And she went out to buy a gun. She went to the gun store and bought a gun. She bought a gun. Wow.
The defense theory of putting her up there, I don't know that any level of sympathy over.
That's gangster. Honestly. That's gangster, man. She went out to buy a gun. Gangster, man. She's a fucking gangster, man. She was not playing.
Overcomes her just flat out admitting that she did it.
Gangster.
Strange to me. I'm sorry, guys. I don't get it.
It seems like she was driven by anger. Like her own words. I felt stupid.
She was embarrassed.
Stupid there.
Yeah, she said, I felt stupid. I'm embarrassed.
They laugh because it's funny, Cat Rendell. It's laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing too. It's funny.
I'm disappointed. I didn't get out of this that he was going to leave.
It's unbelievable funny. Honestly, it's unbelievable funny and sad.
His wife and come with me. And so she was ticked.
But she had a suicide note, so put that into context with all of that. I mean, she said she bought the gun because she was going to commit suicide. I can buy that because she had the note. So
I'm sure she regrets what she did, Sean. That's why she's crying. I'm sure she regrets what she did, and now she has to go to jail for a long time. She fucked her life up. She's pissed off. I'd be pissed off too. We all do things in life sometimes that just fuck up, man.
Goes in and she realizes that he's not going to leave her, and she's walking out, and yes, she got embarrassed and snapped. That's the part where she snapped, I think. But I do think that she planned to purchase that gun to kill herself and not to kill him. The part that gets me, and the part that I have a question about, is when she tells the wife to move so she can shoot him again. I mean, she shot him 5 times. Move out of the way so I can put another bullet in this man to make sure he doesn't.
The people laughing on the stage here, they're not lying. These women here, they're the women who are laughing. They're not lying. They're telling them how they feel in the situation and giving their opinion. They're not lying.
To get up. So yeah, that's a problem for her.
Major problem. We're out of time for tonight. Carmen Rowe, Ali Benevento, Lori Murray, great to have you on Ladies Night. See you again. All right, folks, when we return, something else you need to know tonight, plus coming up next hour.
Tonight on Vinny Politan Investigates, he pleaded no contest to a series of rape-related charges.
All right, I'm done. All right, guys. That's it. I'll be back tomorrow night, man. I got to go to work in the morning. It's 2:22 a.m. It's almost 2:30 in the morning. I got to go. Me and Scully going to bed. Right, Scully? Yeah, get out of here, man. Let's go. Run that shit, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Run that shit. Thank you, Scully. Yo, Braxton, good night. Kat Randall, good night. Chick Eastwater, Ashley, Sean B. Kat's at home. Kat Randall, good night. Trevor the Rebel, good night. Doc Bones, good night. Who else is here? Anybody else? Wild Dog, good night. Cakes Boo, good night. Whoever else is here, I miss you. Sorry. I'm going. Good night, Wild Dog. Rich, night. I gotta go, guys. I am sleepy as hell. I'm gonna honestly, guys. I'm gonna come on a little bit earlier tomorrow, maybe 10:30 p.m. I'm gonna shoot for 10:30 p.m. tomorrow. So maybe I get like an extra hour or a half hour of something. I don't know, man, because the time goes so fast. That's why the time just flies by. It really does. I don't know how the time flies by, but it just flies by. It's like I don't know what it's like, to be honest with you. It's just, I don't know. It's been 2 hours and 46 minutes right now. 2 hours and 46 minutes. Doesn't feel that long. But the time flies by quick, you know? What the fuck is this? Anyway, guys, I love you all. Guys, I'll see you tomorrow night. I love you. Yeah, it goes fast. Time goes fast on my channel. The time goes fast. You already know. See you tomorrow, guys. Bye.
She was young. She was beautiful. She was chasing her dreams. She was excited. She was young, hopeful. She was in love. She wanted a partner. She wanted support. She wanted to be cherished.
See you tomorrow, Sean.
She trusted him. She was anxious.
Sean.
She was overwhelmed.
I hope to see you one of my movie nights. Sean, I hope to see you one of my movie nights on my Discord. What's going on? Don't be a little bitch. Let's go.
She took responsibility. She was scared. She was manipulated. She was abused. She didn't deserve this ending.
You're welcome, Kat Randall. Thank you for being here, man. I'll see you all tomorrow.
She didn't deserve the abuse. I will say her name. I will share her story. I will spread awareness. And I will use my voice because hers was silenced. Her life was stolen, but her legacy will live.
Yelling at the sky, screaming at the world. Baby, why'd you go away? I'm still your girl. Holding on too tight, head up in the clouds. Heaven only knows How do I love? How do I love again? How do I trust? How do I trust again? I stay up all night, tell myself I'm alright. Baby, you're just harder to see than most. I put the record on, wait till I hear our song. Every night I'm dancing with your ghost. Every night I'm dancing with your ghost. Never got the chance to say your last goodbye. I gotta move on, but it hurts to try. How do I love? How do I love again? How do I trust? How do I trust again? I stay up all night, tell myself I'm alright. Baby, you're just harder to see than most. I put the record on, wait till I hear our song. Every night I'm dancing with your ghost. Every night I'm dancing with your ghost. How do I love? How do I love again? How do I trust? How do I trust again? I stay up all night, tell myself I'm alright. Baby, you're just harder to see than most. I put the record on, wait till I hear our song. Every night I'm dancing with your ghost. Every night I'm dancing with your ghost. Every night I'm dancing with your ghost. Her blonde hair fell around her like a halo. She was an upstate New York angel without wings. Her smile shone brighter than a morning sunrise. Her laughter put the songbirds' voice to shame. When you see a butterfly or a weeping willow tree, or a rainbow, or a wildfire on a grassy mountain peak, she's home with Mother Nature, yes she is. In the heaven on this earth, that's where she lives. That's where she lives, that's where she lives. That's where she lives. That's where she lives.
Your eyes for me. It's how nice you are for me. Oh my gosh, it's how much you make me laugh. It's how hard you always laugh for me. Okay, we go. It's you're really great.